16th, 2020. I just have to keep looking back at the laptop to make sure what the date is. Another edition of Quarantine Schnozzcast here from the Zoom session in an undisclosed bunker, 20 floors below sea level. So let's go around the room and introduce the players. Mr. Cory Schnozzcast.
Oh, hey.
How are you, sir?
Not bad. Of yourself?
Excellent. Mr. Joe Guido.
How you doing, Bob?
Moving right along there.
And everyone else.
Ms. Danielle Finn.
Hello.
Hello. And Mr. Nicholas Q. Bader, Esquire.
The best for last. How are you?
I knew you were going to spin that into a positive thing.
All right, Bob, back to you.
Oh, Bob, yes. I'm how you're in the field.
Man in the street.
So hopefully all the listeners and viewers out there are doing well. Again, not touching anybody, living day to day in a near sweaty panic, trying to keep from killing your loved ones, and hugging your dogs tightly. So we can probably start, as we have for the last few weeks, with a little bit of positive news in this era of coronavirus, quarantini virus.
Ooh.
Cory. Hey, Cory.
Hey, Bob.
You'll be happy to know that right now there are several businesses, as we've discussed before, like golf clubs, golf courses that are still booming. And one of those areas of business is the sexual wellness biz. I knew you'd be happy to hear that.
Stop it.
Oh, thank you.
Brothels?
No, I will not stop. I will continue to talk about sex toy sales that are going through the roof and online shops seeing double their average orders. And in addition, Pornhub is reveling in an 18% traffic bump since March 24th when it announced a free month of its premium service.
I have heard that.
Yep. And apparently
You just heard about it, right, Cory?
Yeah, I would not partake.
apparently everyone is camming now, so everybody's got a cam. And all the sites that are showing signups and cam accounts have a 37% sign-up increase over the month of March. And many performers are also turning to Instagram's roving strip clubs, where sex workers, I shouldn't say sex workers, strippers are not really sex workers. Or maybe they could be.
I think they can be.
If they choose to be, for an additional fee. They're turning to doing live feeds with several minutes of dance with their Cash App usernames hovering in the background, so that you can support your local strippers who maybe are providing an even more valuable service than, let's say, the pizza men might be.
Where do you think all this came from?
That's stripping. Oh,
not pizza.
Stripping money.
Some of these
Straight up
strip clubs
pizza man money.
Some of these strip clubs have gathered in the last 60 days or so as many as 60,000 new viewers, and in rare cases, enormous tips for dancers. One performer told the New York Times that she's made over $18,000 from Instagram Live during the quarantine. But just like pizza men, they really don't have a whole lot of other options. It's kind of a matter of survival for them. So with everybody doing the in-place stay-at-home thing, their usual sources of income have dried up, and they don't have the luxury that the pizza men have of being open during these times of crisis. So think about that, Joe, next time you're going to bitch about people not respecting the pizza men.
Oh yeah, making 18 grand in a month must be fucking hell. You know, Google's finally given us props. They put it on their home screen today.
Did they?
Yeah. Thank you to all food service workers.
Okay.
All right.
Did they specifically say pizza men, or are they referring to?
No.
Are they referring to Kroger workers or Costco workers? You think?
Oh yeah, it is.
I'm sorry, man. One of these days, you're going to get the credit that's due to you, sir.
Yeah.
I have no doubt.
I'll count the days.
We all are counting the days. So as far as housekeeping goes, I made a nice little, it was discovery for me. It sounds like Cory may have been aware of this before, but I certainly was not. So it was a few nights ago. Actually, it was Sunday night. I fed the kids dinner and I was surfing on the web and happened to run across an ad on Facebook for voiceover artists. And it kind of piqued my curiosity and ended up in a rat hole for the next hour Googling voiceovers. And I discovered that the most trustworthy accent for a voiceover artist that you can have is the Scottish accent. It's the one that most people would deem as being trustworthy and smooth and more likely to avail themselves of your services if they heard it. So I found this app out there that I didn't know existed where people, can I say the name of the app? I don't see why I couldn't. Might as well give them a free plug. It's called Fiverr with 2 R's. And so you can download it for your iOS or Android device, but essentially you're just kind of scouting around different people who are offering their services to do voiceovers. And it's all done remotely. They take payment through the app via credit card. And they charge, well, let's say some of them charge as low as $5 for 100 words. And in some of the cases, you can send them a script, whatever you want them to say, and they'll read it for you. And so I started looking for female Scottish voiceover artists, and I happened to run across this guy who does the East End London Cockney gangster accent that I remembered from Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and a lot of those other, Guy Ritchie type films that I had loved. And all of these voiceover artists have little snippets of their work, so you can listen to what they've done and determine if that's something that you want to do. So I listened, and it was just fucking phenomenal. So I sent him a message that, hey, we've got a podcast. Wondering if you'd be able to read a script for us for the podcast. But as it was after 6 p.m., Eastern time, and he's in the UK, he's already in bed. But before I went to bed, I got a response, and he's like, and I followed up by asking also, like, will you read explicit language? And so I got a response back from him right before I went to bed. He's like, how explicit are we talking? Send me a sample of what you want me to read. So I'd already kind of started, and I wrote like a script for what I wanted him to say, and I could hear his voice in my head reading it, and that's who I was kind of writing it for. And so I went to go back and rewatch some of the parts of Snatch that I had really liked, and I kind of cribbed some of the language and twisted it around a little bit, and I sent it to him, and he's like, yeah, that should be fine. And the next morning I woke up and I had a sound clip in my mailbox, and it only cost me $7. And
wow.
So yeah, so if you're watching this on Facebook Live, or if in the future you're watching this, we just did publish episode 66 on Podbean and iTunes and Spotify and Google Play Music and all those things. And I tacked it on to the front right before the theme music. I don't think we're going to use it every episode, but kind of had a good laugh and shared it with a bunch of people. So hopefully that's something you'll enjoy. I know that between talking to Nick and Cory, we're all sort of trying to think about where else we could go with this and what other ways that we could use it for the podcast. So
yes, and hopefully coming very soon we'll have clip it or snippet for every bit we do. Yeah,
hopefully. Nick, what were your thoughts after you had heard it? And I assume you took a look at the Fiverr app.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I couldn't understand a lot of stuff he was saying. I don't know the references, but definitely cool to have someone legitimately from that area doing the voice. I probably would have been extremely dishonest and said that he was some famous English actor, and we just happened to know him through a friend of a friend. Not that we spent $7,
right?
But to each their own. So, but yeah, I thought it was fantastic, and the app seems really cool. So
we're all about transparency here. So I didn't really think of that, and so I just never said it. I knew I should have talked to you first, Nick, before I told that story.
I think the floodgates are open now. Sky's the limit.
Who knows? I mean, if it's I may have gotten lucky because I think some of the other ones we were talking about, things that we had things that we had looked at after I sent it over to those two fellas was more expensive. So maybe I just got lucky with exactly what I wanted for $7. It seems like some of the other folks are 20 and up. But you'll be getting like a really good impressionist or someone to do some sort of a voice like I won't even spoil it. I think there were a few that we were looking at. So that's the housekeeping I got for today, everybody.
Hold on, Bob. I think Cory wanted to say something.
Yes, sir.
Don't do that.
No, I got nothing.
Oh, you got nothing. Okay. Did you? We could at this point go into a little booze news if you'd like. You got a story to read for us, Cory? Or Joe?
You go ahead.
I had one. Joe.
I just wanted to keep mine short and sweet, and it was just bringing something up that we discussed the other night.
Sure.
How I had mentioned I had came across an article, and they were saying that the COVID virus was produced in a lab, and everybody told me that it was debunked, but they actually came through and they found out that that's where it did come from. So you don't have to comment. Just moving on.
Who is everyone?
Oh, they found that out. They have intelligence that's saying that right now.
Who is they?
What do you mean, who is they? News channels are saying that.
Well, no, that's what I said. You said they found it out. Who is the they?
Well, news channels are saying that. Whoever people are on the news channels. I don't know specific names, but
okay.
That's it. That's all I wanted to throw in.
All right. So I don't really know what to do with that other than to say.
You don't have to do anything. I said you don't even have to comment on it. I just wanted to throw it out there.
All right. Well, that's really terrifying if that's true. So, Cory, hopefully you got a better news story or a more positive one to set us up back.
I didn't say it was positive.
No,
or
not.
Or one with a source.
Well, I have sources.
The source is every news channel, Nick.
I think I read it on the Chive.
Hey, that's a reputable news source. Now, if you said the Onion, then okay, but you get all my daily news from the Chive.
Depends what side you're on. So.
Well, I do have a story. Well, hang on. Before I do that, I got to fix something on Danielle's iPad real quick. So,
Of course you do.
If someone else has a story, feel free to go ahead.
Well, that would have to be Nick then, because I already read one. And you're going to fix Danielle's iPad, so.
I don't know what's wrong with my iPad.
Nothing, Danielle. Nothing. Just it had been too long that he had been sitting, so he wanted to get up.
Big Max makes Cory frisky.
Look at this. I got everything right behind me. I don't have to leave the frame ever.
What's wrong with that?
Nick, there's a glare on the Schnozzcast.
I know.
You had it better when you turned it to. There you go. Perfect.
Is it backwards or no?
No.
Did you have that before?
No. No, I picked it up today, and it lights up, but when you turn the light on, you can't see it.
Is that bright?
Oh,
No, you can't see anything.
That is bright.
Yeah, you can see it in person, but just not on the video.
Shut all your lights off in your basement, then turn the sign on.
Oh, okay.
Nick, where'd you go?
Right. Just. I do not have a news story.
All right, that's fair. I do have a couple other things while Cory's working his magic. Apparently, there's a bar owner in Georgia who was trying to do something for her unemployed staff, so she pulled off all the dollar bills off the walls. It's one of those bars, and distributed like $3,700 amongst her employees, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw that as well. That was awesome.
Yep.
Even more amazing that there was $3,700 on the wall.
I mean, you and I've we've been in those bars before, right?
Oh yeah, but I didn't think it was that much money.
Names of any, but yeah, we've been in those bars before. Generally, they're on the ceiling because people get drunk. They're going to try to pull them off the wall.
Yeah, that's
or they're going to be behind the bar.
Are these free?
Exactly. There's an article about in France considered boulangeries to be essential.
Boulangerie.
Well, it's like Starbucks being essential, right? I mean, Starbucks are not essential anymore. They kind of shut them down unless they're inside of a building and owned by, not owned by Starbucks, but by the business itself, just servicing the business. But I can't imagine being in France and not being able to get like a baguette and a cup of really strong coffee. And I think
that's your only takeaway from France, because anytime you talk about France, you're like, dude, go there, have a baguette, some fresh bread, and a really strong cup of coffee. I'm like, I think they
and those little deep fried potato things, that they make over there.
I think they have more things than that.
Well, everybody's always heard the stories about Notre Dame and going to the Eiffel Tower. No one tells stories about
overrated.
Exactly.
Been there.
Exactly. All right, sir.
Okay. Well, I thought I did, but I'm getting a little feedback from the living room, but apparently the headphones are just a little loud.
We will fight through it.
But that did make me retool my news story. I originally had something relating to sales during the coronavirus, but I'm going to go back to what we were discussing last night about office chairs. And we did have a chance to make it to Target and Walmart today.
Mm-hmm.
Target does not sell any office chairs in store, come to find out.
Anymore. Okay.
Going to Walmart, they had plenty of office chairs. Abundance of office chairs.
Okay.
And guess what you can't buy anymore?
Oh, they roped it off?
There's signs on everything marking them as non-essential items during this time. So any furniture, dressers, coffee tables, office chairs, you cannot purchase currently.
You're still there. I don't get the point.
Yeah, I'm unclear on that as well. You're already in the store.
Because they want to dumb down the number of people going there. They're like, well, can't buy an office chair. Guess I have no reason to go to Target today. That's the mindset.
Okay.
Well, and one of the really annoying parts of it was that, you're already there and you can just grab it and pay for it and be done. It's not going to hurt anyone or anything. And I mean, if people are working from home, how would you not deem an office chair essential if someone's not used to working from home already?
Yeah. I told him just to grab it anyways, but he didn't.
The funny thing is there's several office chairs over here he could have used that Bob told him. And could have put it on the porch, no contact. But nope.
There wouldn't have been time for that.
He wanted to be a trailblazer.
And then I would have been responsible for getting that office chair back at some point. And
yeah,
let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah, that wouldn't have happened.
So your months.
That would have been my office chair.
Take away.
That is true. I'll have to say that you're self-aware in that aspect, because we would never see it again.
I do appreciate you having the foresight to not to know that you were going to screw me out of a $40 chair and not to follow through.
Yeah, and by the way, the price has gone up on those chairs too. They're now $50.
I know I didn't pay $50 for those chairs.
Yeah, they were $48.97 or something like that.
Trying to make a buck.
Which sucks because they would have made an extra $50 sale today had they let me purchase an office chair.
Well,
I think they'll do okay.
Yeah, I think Walmart's done all right.
Yeah, there were plenty of people in Walmart.
Yeah, there was no shortage of people there.
What's this? This just in? Walmart's closing their doors because they're not selling office chairs anymore?
Hey, you never know.
No shortage of people, just short people.
Yeah, I can't imagine Walmart ever shutting their doors, even if everybody stopped going. I feel like they've got so much money, they just write it out.
Well, like I said to Cory, I was surprised. They're like the only place I know of that is accepting returns right now. Mm-hmm.
On what? What are they selling that you could possibly return?
Everything.
Anything.
I thought you meant cans.
No, their bottles are closed, but
the bottles are closed.
Yeah, the returns are closed. The bottle returns are closed, but there was a line at the customer service to return items.
As soon as I go to Walmart, I walk right into an open bottle.
Shut up. I wish I had the power to mute you.
Cory does.
I know he does.
So what's the high side? It's gonna kind of go like Cory, and then
Right?
That'll work.
yeah, you absolutely could. All right, well, that's booze news for the week, I guess. So we could probably get into something else, or we could just continue with shopping talk. Nick, didn't you go to Target too?
I did. It was under recommendation, by recommendation of Dr. J.W. Rankin. I took it under advisement. He told me, hey man, I was telling him my trials and tribulations of ordering things on Amazon, because there's a bunch of things I need from the grocery store, and I have not been in like 3.5 weeks. And every time someone says something about the store, they're like, oh my God, it's horrible, and there's people everywhere. And so it just sounds, monumentous of a task to try and undertake. But I was talking to Bob about, Amazon, and, the things I'm able to get from Amazon, I can't get till like May 5th. But luckily it's quite the menagerie of items. It's like a box of 300 goldfish and a double cellophane wrapped thing of mouthwash and Coke Zero. It's like there's a lot of things that, I'd probably buy in addition to things I need, but waiting 3 weeks for that, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, finally. So Bob's like, hey, you should do? You should go to Target. The aisles are wider. There's less people. They had toilet paper as far as the eye could see.
The air smells sweeter.
Anything I needed. And I'm like, oh, did you go like right after a shipment at 6 a.m.? No, 2 o'clock on a weekday. And I'm like, Target, like, the one mountain when there was the gold rush that nobody remembered was there, and it's like, there's gold in them there hills, so I'm like, all right. So today I said, all right, I'm going to Target. So I went there and strapped on my N95 and sanitized the cart handle. And I went in there, and it was very strange. There was people everywhere, but it was like, it was as if someone was at the door going, okay, we're monitoring here. We're monitoring with cameras and high-tech audio. If any one of you speaks while you're in the store, you're out of here. You're gone. Because everyone was just so methodical, like going and doing all their stuff, and everyone kind of looked like scared deer, and no one was saying a word. So I was literally like Bob had explained, like as if some sort of sultan of a country or something was coming over my home for dinner. I was like, I need this, and I need this, and 4 pounds of bacon. I don't even eat bacon that much, and I need this, and 5 jars of olives. I don't know when I'm going to have olives again. This is an opportunity that I don't know if I'll have again. I need all these olives. Several bottles of ranch. I'm like, I don't know what I was making with olives and ranch dressing and bacon, but at least I got it. So I filled up
bowl of cereal you're ever going to have.
All kinds of limes, like 20 limes. I don't know what kind of Cuba Libras I'm making for a whole family, but I have enough limes to do so. Avocados, I got them. Anything. So I'm going through, and my cart is just filling up. And I never go to Target, so that Target has little knickknacks and crap. I'm like, yep, that little fake plant, I need that. That little thing that looks like a little fake lavender. I don't know if I can grow lavender this summer. I need that fake lavender. Put that in my cart. I'm like, shit that I would never even think of. I'm like, yep. Excuse me, lady. Yep.
It's
So
almost
now,
like when you walk through the aisles, you're like, what don't I need? Let me just identify what I don't need, and then shove everything else into my cart.
The answer is nothing. And so then I thought of Cory, because I'm like trying to get past these weird people with no sort of mask on, people that are just
weird people, and you thought of Cory?
Spitting into the devil's face. And here inside the ice cream freezers, it was like, oh, and there's this one lone jug of Sour Patch Kids ice cream.
Oh.
What?
And I was like, and and it was like, oh, multicolored, and it had the Sour Patch logo on the front, and you could see all little pieces of them in the ice cream. And I'm like, oh, I got to take a picture of this for Cory. And I'm like, hands. Been touching too many things. I can't touch my phone. I'm like, too bad, Cory. And I kept it moving. But I ended up going down. I'm like, oh, I can't wait. I'm going to be building forts in my house out of toilet paper because of what Bob has told me. I go down the toilet paper aisle, and it was like a Halloween USA at the end of the season. Like, it was just empty shelves. There was nothing anywhere. As far as the eye could see, you could have slept on the shelves. There was nothing on them. And I'm like, son of a bitch. So I kept filling up my cart, and as I go into the produce aisle, I'm moving past a portly old man, and here's a 4-pack of toilet paper, like in with the tomatoes and limes. And I'm like, mine. And I threw it in my cart, and people are like breathing through their masks, like trying to like see out of the corner of their eyes because they have no peripheral vision, you know. And I was as quick as I was there, I was gone. So finally, I went to the checkout, and it was $190 of apparently essential things that I needed. So
I'm sorry, did I give you the impression when I went that there was toilet paper? There was none.
Oh, you did tell me that.
Yeah. You
go, oh, yeah, there was toilet paper. There was everything you needed.
Oh, well, I said everything. Of course, not toilet paper, though.
Well, I think there probably was toilet paper when you were there.
No, I would have bought some.
Exactly. That's what Cecilia got that extra cart for.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I think I'm probably I've got two big packs that I just cracked into one of them. So I'm probably good for another somewhere between 3 and 4 weeks.
I felt like I was on like a silent version of those shopping sprees where they give you 5 minutes to get whatever you can in your cart for free.
Yeah.
That was a good game show.
Yeah.
But it was weird to me how the difference between shopping in Kroger before everybody was wearing masks and now shopping in Target where like everybody in the store had a mask on. How, you know, in Kroger before, when no one was wearing masks yet, people were just hurrying. They were literally like almost trotting through the aisles with their carts and very quickly, like just grabbing whatever they could see. And now it's much more slowly because they know like, oh, I've got gloves on, I've got a mask on. I have to be a little more judicial about what do I pick off the shelves because I've only got one cart. I'm only one person and it's got to fit in this cart. Am I going to need all 13 of those boxes of mac and cheese that are on the shelf? I just might. Maybe I need 10. Let's just go with 10. I don't want to leave somebody else in the lurch. I'll take 10 of the 13.
You know, when Cory has beans and deviled eggs, he has the trust.
There's no such thing as me eating beans, sir.
I know. I was like, that's not happening.
Have you guys never made chili at the
He doesn't eat. I make chili. Yes, he doesn't eat it though because he doesn't like beans.
Oh, he doesn't make you make chili without beans?
He's never asked.
So you just make like a chili flavored tomato soup with chunks of meat in it.
Wet sloppy Joe.
Well, she's saying he would if he asked, is what she's saying.
Well, now
she chooses to make the chili magic, Bob.
Oh God.
Oh, you can't go wrong with chili magic.
I don't know what that is.
I implied Danielle made nice home cooked meals for Cory the other day, and there was some eye rolling going on.
Yeah,
I make them on his day off. Not today. We didn't have time today.
There you get quarter pounder.
We had McDonald's today.
That's what you get.
Honey, I made hamburgers.
I always make Cory dinners on his day off unless I don't.
Which is more or less the case.
And I'm sure Cory always does nice things for you, except when he doesn't.
She was like, you were with me today. You saw. When did I have time to make food? Tell me.
Going back to being at the store, though, and the toilet paper issue, we stopped at the liquor store. That was our last stop before we headed back here. And there was a guy that just cashed out before I walked in, and he had 12 rolls of toilet paper that he apparently found at the liquor store that they had in stock.
Oh, my God.
And he made very sure that as he was packing up all his rolls of toilet paper, It's like, yeah, I send her out for 2 hours. She can't find toilet paper anywhere. I'm out for 5 minutes, and look at me, got 12 rolls. Okay, bud.
Did you get a look at the brand of that toilet paper?
Yes, I did get a very good look at it.
And?
It was wrapped in clear cellophane. All individual rolls.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Kind of like you find like sitting on the top of the existing roll of toilet paper in like a grade school bathroom?
I'd say even worse than that.
Okay.
So I see some hemorrhoids in that guy's future.
Single ply, prison paper.
Maybe even half ply.
Half a ply.
Yeah, there was no single about that toilet paper.
Oh, yeah. I often wonder, like, is it going to come to that eventually? Are we going to be down to like single ply?
Dwight Schrute was ahead of his time.
I think living in a world where all there is single ply toilet paper, would be a worse thought to me than a world in which there's no food at the store anymore to buy.
Well, you could always have the refreshing splashing jets of Ready Today bidet.
I could if I had one. Actually, I have a ship date on mine.
A shit date?
Exactly. No, there's a ship date for the shit date.
My bidet and I have a shit date as soon as it comes in.
July 18th.
I was going to say, yeah, there's no, this virus may be gone by the time either of us gets.
Man, I'll be sitting on a cork the day before that comes in. I can't wait.
Yep, that's when I'm going to make some chili magic tonight.
Just the slow motion cam of the water coming out.
What is chili magic?
Chili magic
Danielle.
is like Hamburger Helper for chili.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have like a couple pounds of ground beef, but you don't have any, you're like, I don't feel like going to the store to buy fresh vegetables and fresh tomatoes and peppers and things like that, then you could use a couple cans of chili magic.
Gotcha.
They usually reserve it for the people cashing their food stamps.
Makes sense.
Hey, my kid, that's all we ate was chili magic up until my kids were like 13.
And scrambled egg surprise?
No, I gotta honor my father with keeping that just up here as a memory. All right, well, I got Cory 36 minutes in. What kind of attendance we getting in the Facebook Live room? Anybody?
We're at 7 currently.
Yeah,
7.
going back and forth between 7 and 8.
Okay.
And we just had Mrs. Kearns and Mr. Moore join the room. So
Excellent.
shout out to them.
I assume people like that come in the room and then they never say anything, that they're just violently clicking on their computer and links at phones and so on. Oh shit! I didn't mean to press that. That's something else.
I will tell you who always comes in the room and makes sure that it's known that he's in the room.
Oh God.
A certain Mr. Greg Bader Jr.
Yeah, that's any room he comes into.
I was going to say, it just obviously runs in the family.
No, I sit back and watch.
Yeah.
Greg comes in and does somersaults.
So some of the house parties we went to back in the day, and you'd come in and unplug their stereo system and plug up your Bluetooth system and just take over the music. That's just quietly walking into a room.
You did that? That's a dick move, man.
I would not unplug their stereo system. I would go to a different room.
At some point,
start playing it, and then the party would leave that downstairs room and come up to the upstairs room, and then the person whose home it was would be like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Well, play some good music."
See, if Nick really knew the person, yeah, he would have no problem just shutting it down and taking over the music. But if it was someone that was a friend of a friend, or he wasn't very, too sure of who they were, it was a gradual takeover.
Yeah, I've never walked in and unplugged someone's stereo.
Yes, as a matter of fact, so he even commented before I could give you that story about Greg making noise every time he comes into a room, because he just asked, "What about me?" So there you go, Greg.
So, boys and girls, you think it's time for a shot?
Yeah, sure.
Nick, do a shot.
Yeah, we'll have a fucking shot. Bob, you want to do a shot?
I'll do a shot. Joe, do a shot.
Okay.
Is Joe actually have something to do a shot of?
Nope.
Nope. No, he does not. All right, Joe, are you going to work at the midnight shift tonight or what?
No.
No?
Last time it was rot gut whiskey.
I dumped that down the drain.
You're regretting that now, though, aren't you?
No. God, no.
Oh. All right, so I'm going to run grab something real quick. I assume that you have to as well. Cory?
Yep.
Is it just
No,
on?
I already got it right here.
Okay. Give me a second.
I'll be right back. I'm going to go fix Danielle's iPad.
Yes. See you guys. Well, that's fantastic. Everyone just got up and left. Bob, didn't we just have a discussion about that?
What's that?
Everyone getting up and leaving.
Oh, the discussion was not getting up and leaving with no explanation for like 3 minutes.
Right.
That was a discussion. If I tell you where I'm going and I'm only gone for less than 5 seconds, I think it's fine.
Cory's thing was like, and then he would just shuffle off screen. And you would hear him like Charlie Brown's mom, like in the background a little bit. And nope. And then we'd have to have Danielle go, right now Cory is packing some shoe in the kitchen, but he can hear you. He's right. I can still see him. He's right over there. I'm like, oh, okay. All right.
All right. I don't know that we need to wait for Joe because he doesn't have anything anyway, right?
That's true. He's got a cup of ice.
Well, hopefully he's not going to chew that on camera.
Knowing Joe, it's definitely a possibility.
Ready?
Ready? Here we go.
Oh.
Ooh.
Woo. Woo. First one always goes down like a rusty rake.
Yep.
But it gets so much easier.
Indeed. Hey, Nick.
Hey, Bob.
If we were to do a segment of Danielle's Word Box, could I prevail upon you for a theme music?
I almost forgot what the theme music was.
You want me to remind you?
Yeah.
Oh no. I apologize. I'm thinking about what's on top shelf.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. After 50, we forget things too.
Yeah. Although you could bastardize it.
Could I?
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think about it. All right. I didn't think I would. It was a fool's errand. Is what it was.
Yeah.
All right. So I have. You know what? I texted it to Cory, but I really could have just texted it directly to Danielle.
I was going to say I was copying and pasting it right now.
Oh, go ahead.
I was like, I can't see anything, so.
If you're in the middle of it, go ahead, Cory. But so if you're new and judging by the attendance in the Facebook Live room, you're not to this segment for Danielle's Word Box. She is an incredible sport about. Sometimes we do a word with the SCH in it and a lot of other letters, and other times we do a tongue twister.
Danielle, what was that?
Because it just popped up on my screen, so I saw it was what it was.
Did Cory send you some sort of selfie?
No.
Oh.
I sent her a tongue twister for today. Which she's super excited about.
Mm-hmm. Sure am.
But again, as much as I would love to like make you like fly through the tongue twister, you're probably going to take your time. So there's no, I can't make you read it at a particular speed. So I thought she was going to say, oops, I accidentally deleted it.
No,
Bless you.
COVID, thank you.
I think I joined the meeting again.
I saw that.
I don't know, Cory, can you fix that?
Cory, you may have to jump in here.
What'd you do? What?
I went to click to brighten my screen, and I clicked the Zoom meeting again. So
No, you're here. You're fine. Everything looks fine.
Yeah, except for there's an extra box now.
Cory can kill that box. He's the grandmaster.
Yeah, Cory can exit.
Sorry.
You're good. You're good.
All right, you want me to read it?
Right now, he's typing to Danielle. Throughout the Zoom meeting, I need you to think of reasons why I can get up from the desk.
Yeah, so Danielle's word box. We've got a tongue twister that has been sent to her, called from the deepest, darkest corners of the interwebs, and hoping that she'll give it a try.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Can you can a canned can into an uncanned can like a canner can a canned can into an uncanned can?
Excellent. Well done.
Wow.
Well
that felt very near and dear to Menagerie.
That's what I was just gonna say.
One more time.
Kind of how it felt.
One more time, double the speed.
No.
It was worth a shot.
All I heard
One
was
and done.
can you can if you can. That's all I heard.
Thanks, Mom.
The cool part about the Zoom session is that I saw the disgust on her face when I came across the screen, which told me for sure that Cory hadn't sent it to her in advance.
No.
Right. And she didn't trip over it at all. So well done. Very well done.
Thanks, Gina.
Danielle, how close are you within a leg or an arm's reach from Cory right now?
No.
No? Ooh, okay. Baby steps.
You're an idiot.
All right.
Let's remind Danielle that Cory has turned off the deep freezer for the duration of this podcast, so we don't let that go too long.
Butcher box isn't going to be good after that.
It should be fine.
No, I took everything out of it, so I don't need to keep on opening it. Not everything, just the stuff I needed.
I was like, I hope you didn't take everything out of there.
Best way to combat it.
They're gonna get a little tipsy through the podcast. All of a sudden, it's gonna go off. They're gonna be basking in the sunlight of their glory of how great the cast went that night. All of a sudden, some music will come on, and they'll head to the bedroom for possibly some romantic times, and that deep freezer will be long forgotten.
That was a very vivid picture you painted there.
Yes, thank you for.
Yeah.
I even am a little weirded out, even though it was including me.
Room temperature steaks.
Smells like a dead body.
What is that smell?
I would cry if all that food went.
You want to hear a good story?
Oh yeah.
Hang
say
on.
something?
Oh, go ahead.
Real quick, Joe. So as we did discuss, you weren't on the call, but anytime you answer up or have a story, then you lead it off with, can I say something? Can I ask a question? Or can I tell a story? We're going to deny you.
Okay, so should I just blurt out my story, or should you want me to ask first?
Yeah, I'm firmly in the camp of he never asked before, and this is better.
I'm being polite. I'll just blurt it out if you want.
Yeah,
Joe, I actually liked your politeness. That's why they say that imitation is often considered the highest form of flattery. That's really the reason I started bringing it up, because I thought
is that right? So Cory's the only one that has a problem with this?
I think so.
Yeah,
I guess.
So
Whatever,
overruled.
fuck. Forget it.
We're all siding with you, buddy, except for Cory.
Did you guys do your shot?
Your story. We did.
No, it just had to do with freezers crapping out.
Let's hear it.
This was probably, my grandma had just passed away, so this was
What,
back
1979?
like 10 years ago, close to 10 years ago. And my parents, we'd kind of come over the house every once in a while, and it just started smelling like rank. And they couldn't figure out what the hell it was. They thought they had a dead animal stuck somewhere or something like that, like something got into the house. And then I wandered down into their basement. My grandma had a huge stand-up freezer that had crapped out. And I opened this door, and liquid and all kinds of shit poured out. And
was it one of the freezers where the door like opens up like that onto the floor?
No, it was
Why was liquid pouring out of the? Oh, okay.
Did it have the horizontal?
Because I opened it.
Hasp, like an international harvester?
No, it was vertical, and I opened the door, which had a seal on it, and then shit started dumping out.
Okay.
she had ricotta cheese and anything an old Italian woman would freeze.
Did you have to clean all that up?
Oh yeah, me and my mom did. My dad wouldn't come anywhere near the basement because he can't stand it. And I have never smelled stuff so ripe in my life. Like, I didn't lose it, I didn't puke, but it got back into your nose. I pulled out like a butterball turkey that was all liquid. And it just hung there.
God, stink.
Oh my
Well,
God.
you know, perhaps Joe, your brain created a positive placebo for the nostalgia of the fact that you are bonding with your family, and that's why you're always so prone to shit talks today.
Possible, yeah.
It's like
I never thought of it like that. Man.
It's like Superman's origin story for Joe Guido.
Guys, it was horrible.
So was it powerful enough where, like, even today you can still remember what it smelled like?
If I caught a whiff of something similar, I'd be like, that entire freezer was just rotted death.
There's a lot of things that you can't catch a whiff of without throwing up, right?
No, just Bacardi-O and not even the fridge. You know what? If I smelled the fridge, it would be less likely to throw up.
I love how he thought nothing about, like, he had no feelings of vomit or getting sick or anything in a freezer full of rancid meat, but Bacardi-O, immediately.
That's it.
Instant. All over the place.
Joe was actually, after he was done touching some of the rancid meat, he was licking his fingers, but Bacardi-O, he smells it. He's puking.
No.
Joe, you were a mystery wrapped in an enigma smothered in secret sauce.
I'm not even making that up. I lose it completely.
It sounds like you're making all of it.
Could you imagine one day if we, like, asked for one rogue shot? We're all getting something different. One rogue shot of Bacardi-O, and then took, like, red and yellow food coloring to make it the color of Fireball, and then, like, here you go, Joe.
No, I smell it.
I think once the official Uncle Ray's opens back up, then we need to plan that out one night.
We'll make sure we're on the patio.
Well, if you want to clean up my
Someone
vomit,
show projectile vomits everywhere.
Yeah, that's knock yourself out. But I don't think I'm going to be doing any more shots handed to me from you guys. So.
That's probably a good idea.
We'll come up with something. We'll get Dawn to give it to you or something like that.
Oh, it's not going to get you far. So.
Oh, you don't trust your buddies?
Hell no.
Don Hendricks, the one you want.
Make some powdered X-Lax.
No, I'm not going to trust anybody from Ray's anymore.
With some rum chata served to Danielle.
I love how in less than 60 seconds we poisoned him against anything.
I'm not even going there.
So Joe won't trust anyone in Ray's. We'll just get a bum to come off.
It only took less than a minute to do it, too.
Give it to Joe, because apparently he'll trust him.
I feel like
thanks, buddy.
I feel like if we worked at it, it would take less than 5 minutes to poison him against his entire family.
No. Possibly.
By a raise of hands here, has anyone ever sat on the floor at a bar throwing up from Fireball?
To my knowledge, no.
On the floor?
That wasn't you, Danielle?
I didn't sit on the floor.
That was at Puck's?
I didn't sit on the floor.
It was at Pukes.
I threw up at Puck's. I didn't sit on the floor, though.
From
Kneeling.
Oh, kneeling.
Halfway there.
Did my legs actually touch the ground? Because I feel like I was hovering.
No, you were
hovering.
You were kneeling.
Defying gravity. You felt in that moment that you.
That's not what I meant.
Gravity? Okay.
She used the handicap railings as a pummel horse.
They don't have handicap railings at Puck's.
They barely had a bathroom at Puck's.
That's true.
Yeah, this is very true.
Door wouldn't lock. Just kept swinging open.
There was no door. you just walked right in.
So
there was a door on the girls' bathroom.
Weren't you in the guys' bathroom when you were throwing up?
No.
Oh God, I hope not. Jesus.
Why would I have gone in the guys' bathroom?
I'm kidding.
Oh.
Danielle, how many sparkly brewmates do you have? Because I thought I saw one on camera, but there's definitely one here.
I have two.
Oh, okay.
There's one here and there's one at your house.
That's what happens when you and your mom don't coordinate Christmas gifts well enough and you both get her the same thing.
I think it's actually worked out positively for her in this aspect, because she's like, oh, I don't have to keep bringing it over there.
Well, and of course, my mom got all upset. Why didn't you tell me that you were getting that for her? I'm like, well, she has two now. We can leave one somewhere, and she can leave one in the car, whatever she wants, and one at the house.
Yeah, they're functional. So
yeah,
Right.
Yeah, Nick doesn't care. He lives by himself. Just leave all your crap at his house.
that's
Yep.
the thought.
You know, if you're gonna go down the basement there again next week, I really need to probably talk you through hooking that up to the mixer.
I don't have a mixer.
The old mixer is still there. It's on the shelf.
Oh, okay.
Maybe there's a way. Let me think about that.
Yeah, figure it out before you try to talk me through it.
Yeah, no, that comes first for sure. So what do you guys think about? So when the dust clears and businesses can open up again, which I think realistically probably isn't going to be for probably several months, if that. And that's just me being on the conservative side. Are there any businesses or places that you would frequent that you think might be in such dire straits that they might not ever open up again, like they might be done?
I think there'll be plenty.
Any that come to mind?
I'd say like independently owned small bakeries, like, because bakeries aren't open. I mean, that's not essential, right? Like,
no.
I've been watching the news, and like a lot of these like print shops, like local print shops that do a lot of stuff, they don't think they'll be back. Maybe lower end salons. I mean, I don't know, or like nail places, because they still, they got rent to pay and all that. And if it bankrupts them, then they're screwed.
Yeah, isn't that small bakery by your house that you go to all the time, Joe Do Re Mi?
No, but like Jack's, I don't know. Maybe Jack's Bakery is open, the one down Allen Road. I don't know.
Not even giving that the.
Just so you know, Bob, he did reuse the mini soda joke the other day at work as well.
Did he?
I got the Do Re Mi joke.
Well,
I didn't laugh at it. I got it. I'm not gonna laugh at it.
Good for you, Joe.
Well, let me go grab my dad. He'll probably laugh at it.
Hey, don't.
No, Cory. To be fair.
The
button, Bob.
Oh shit! Sorry.
No.
To be fair.
To be fair, it is a new crowd at work, and they haven't heard that horrible joke yet. So I would only come down on it if he tried to run it by me again. I'd be like, no, dude, you already.
Well, no, that was kind of the thing. It was one person was the new crowd, but I was also there. So I'm like, you couldn't have just waited until I was gone.
I switched it up a little bit, so Cory was kind of like, "Oh,
where's he going with it?"
Right.
I can't even remember what you were telling John.
Something about a small Coke, I'm sure.
World may never know.
Oh God! Now you're playing coy about the fucking mini soda joke. Come on. Yeah, he's playing coy. Oh, okay.
I was gonna say apparently we're not gonna get anything.
Yeah.
I just got too much shit for saying it twice. I'm not gonna say it 3 times.
I didn't give a shit for saying it twice. All I said was if it's a totally new crowd, I wouldn't give you shit if it's a new crowd. You got to do that. That's how you work jokes around. It's like going to a different comedy club every night doing your act.
That's right.
It just happens you happen to have a groupie in Cory that's always at every comedy club you go to every night, and he's going to hear those jokes. He's the guy in the middle of one. Oh Jesus!
He's so fun.
I would say more or less Cory's part of the staff, like the.
He's a waiter in the comedy club.
Busboy.
The security for the comedian, and he's like, oh,
security
5 times.
When was the last time you were at a comedy club?
Old.
Right.
Cory mops
security.
He mops up the jizz in the adjacent peep show.
Right.
Wow. What is he wearing while he's doing that? I felt like you were going to get very specific with that reference.
Yeah, I apologize to Mrs. Finn, who's in the room.
Who? Why are you apologizing?
To my mom.
Oh, I thought you were talking about. Sorry, Mom.
Look, at this point, we're on almost done 70 episodes. She knows what she's getting into.
We're adults.
Apologize. I think you're fine.
She did give me an "oh wow" comment to the romance in the bedroom.
Your mom's, yeah, she's rolling right now. She's enjoying it.
Did you know she was in the room at that time?
Yeah.
I did.
That was lighthearted.
Lighthearted.
That was from your Target trip?
Yeah. It's not a competition, Bob. See, you know,
I feel like
I tell him I spent 190 at Target. He's like, guess how much I spent? Over 300. I'm like, just let me have my moment with some things. Now I'm trying to show a new beer. Look, I've got Rubeus. It's way more expensive than what you have.
Oh my God. This is, I hope I can try to one-up you on something else before this podcast is over, because this is a lot of fun.
You will.
I had to kill a man last night. Well, I killed two.
I killed 2 people last night.
What the fuck?
How'd you kill him? Oh, strangulation, huh?
I slit their throat.
Amateur.
Bet that strangulation took a while. I was just like, done. All right, Cory, I got almost an hour through. You want to take a break? Come back?
Sure, we can do that. We might be minus 1 person when we get back.
Yeah?
Yes.
Why?
Danielle's friends have decided that they are going to do a Zoom.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, no, you got to do that. I forgot about that. What time do they start?
Fortunately,
8:30.
Oh, okay.
She gets to see you fucks just about every night of the week when we Zoom, so she's going to go spend some time with her friends on.
Oh, I totally get it. If I were in your shoes, I would absolutely do the same thing.
Yeah, so.
It has been a pleasure. You know,
Always.
thank you for hanging out on the couch, separated by virtual miles from your long lost love.
No problem.
We appreciate that.
Look how sad he is to be there by himself.
I know. He looks really sad.
Whoa.
Oh, sad. You said sad. Okay, sorry. Oh,
You thought he was glad.
Yeah.
can't stand it in here all by myself.
Yeah, I'm sure you can't.
No, it's so
All right,
difficult.
well, let's take a
I
break.
have the dogs on the couch next to me, so.
Oh, you're gonna take him in there for your Zoom session? Are you going to the bedroom? Or you stay in the living room?
I don't know if I stay in here, I don't know if it'll
Yeah, it'll.
feedback.
It'll, yeah, like Nick said, it'll.
It'll.
I don't know if you guys will be able to hear me
Yeah, we will.
in here
will.
on the phone.
We
I
will.
know, so I may have to leave.
Back patio garage.
I'm not going outside.
Cory just locked the door when she.
If you could go down to the couch on the lawn of the house down the street, that'd be great.
Listen, this is my house.
Cory, look through the glass door. As soon as she goes out to let the dogs out, click. What happens when you want to be with your own friends?
Yeah.
It's broken. I don't know what happened.
Ha ha.
All right, 10-minute break.
10-minute break. All right, just give me 10 minutes. Welcome back to the second half of the Schnozzcast, episode 69. We have lost Ms. Danielle Finn to another competing Zoom session, but we will carry on nonetheless. So this is Bob here with Cory and Joe and Nick. Gentlemen.
Welcome back.
Oh, hello.
Joe, your thoughts?
I had to say hello. Hello. I have no
You're a
answer.
natural for this business, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, so we've got a couple other things to hit in this episode. One of them was the gentleman's agreement, and I think we've all done a bit of work. Maybe not the whole thing, but certainly made some progress on that. So, Mr. Joe Guido, did you happen to watch your Everyone's Everything? Everything's to Everyone?
Yeah, for about 20 minutes.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
What made you stop at 20?
I couldn't stand it anymore.
Okay, give us your quick capsule review for what you saw. What was it that were your impressions of what you did see, and what was it that finally made you go, nope, turn this off?
I was getting tired, and basically all he is a attention whore that has too many tattoos and had problems in school and blah, blah, blah. And his rapping was getting to me, and I couldn't stand it anymore. So, but I bet it got really good at the end.
If you would have stuck around, you would have.
No, I didn't. I was getting tired. I had to go to bed. But that's all I got. And then they were interviewing his girlfriend, and she was sitting on the couch, and the bed, and she had really big feet and black socks. That annoyed me. And I just got tired. I tried to make it further, but I was dozing on and off. But yeah, I'll watch the rest of it. Yeah.
Well, that's up to Cory. I mean, he's the one who assigned you that movie. So if he really wants you to watch the rest of it, but if he doesn't care, I don't know that I would do it. Doesn't sound like you're that jazzed.
I think he did it to punish me.
No, I would
look at him smiling. I knew he would.
I would never do such a thing.
Did it to punish me. No, I got about 20 minutes, and I'm like, nope, I'm getting tired.
Okay. All right. Well, I had to watch Muppets Take Manhattan. Aside from Joe, and I had seen the movie before, but it's been since before I was in high school, so it's been a long time. So it was actually pretty enjoyable to watch. I didn't. It's a great. Unless you fucking hate the Muppets, it's a great movie. In fact, I remember the Muppets movie probably a little bit better than this one. But I liked this one better than I thought it would. It might be better than the Muppets movie. I'd have to watch the first one again. But good songs in it.
A lot of celebrities.
And that's kind of the thing with Muppets movies, right? You go back to like when I was a kid. It's Steve Martin. You've got Richard Pryor.
Excellent choice.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing was when I was watching it. I remembered way more about the movie than I thought I did, like even the dialogue. Yeah. And I feel like the version I watched renting it off of Amazon was different than the movie I watched on like a VHS tape when I was a kid. We would rent it from it wasn't Blockbuster Video back then. It was something else, something local. But I feel like it had been edited somehow. Do you know if that's true, Joe?
The version you watched, or the one?
This version I watched in 2020 rented from Amazon versus like a 1984 VHS copy. Do you think that they might have edited some of it for content?
Oh yeah, I'm sure they cut it. And a lot of Muppet stuff has adult things, that aren't.
So you think they might have had some Joe? I don't know what was cut. It just felt like the flow, there's little things that are missing. You know what I mean? It's like you watch a movie over and over again when you're a kid, and then you revisit it, 20, 25 years later, and you're expecting it to go a certain way, and you can't tell what's missing. You could just tell that it's different in some small ways. But
I'm sure it is.
But that would mean that in Muppets Take Manhattan, there was some kind of language or scenes that in today's world might be considered to be offensive.
Oh, probably.
And that kind of blew my mind. I'm like, wow, were the Muppets edgy back in '84?
Yes, so.
Or was the world just, not as uptight as it is now?
The world is probably not uptight as it is now. There's episodes of Andy Griffith that they got to blank stuff out now because how they said it back in the day, it's completely different the way it's taken nowadays. So,
right.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of what it is, but.
And the other thing that occurred to me was that, being a grown man now, the fact that I was a teenager when I saw it, I would have been, I would have been 15 when it came out. I didn't really give a lot of thought to what went into operating the puppets.
Oh yeah.
And now that you know that, and you realize like, Jesus, that like Frank Oz did so much work in this movie. Like, there were so many Muppets that Frank Oz either voiced or, worked, personally, that he must have just been on set every day and had shit to do in every scene, which is crazy. I mean, you expect like someone like Jim Henson to be there because he's Kermit the Frog and he's the main character, but Frank Oz had so many other characters that were all either like right up there in leading roles or like players or whatever. But it was cool. It was a good recommendation. It was a nice trip down memory lane for me. So
even with the voices that Henson does, they don't sound too much different than his actual voice, maybe a little rougher, but Frank Oz is, he does Miss Piggy and like completely, high voice, low voice.
Yeah.
He did a lot.
Yeah, it was good. So strong recommendation. Mr. Bader, I know you gave a shot to well, it goes by two different names. I think the name it was a Luc Besson film, and as he's a French director, it went by Leon in the UK, but when it was released in the States, it was called The Professional. And that was the assignment you got from Nick Zaleski, right?
Correct.
So how far did you get? What are your thoughts? Give us your review.
I almost got about halfway through it, just because super busy today. No excuses, and it's been way too long. I think with me, I was waiting for Nick probably to come back on the podcast, and when I got from Joe, he explicitly stated that he wanted to be here so we could turn up the volume. I don't know, but that never happened. So I've been more relaxed on my gentleman's agreement, but
quarantine.
Yes,
quarantine.
So yeah, blame it on the quarantine. But yeah, I thought it had a very strong start to it. It definitely caught my interest. I was like trying to watch it and, make a sandwich, the nice fluffy pretzel roll. And few things can take my attention away from a fluffy pretzel roll. But I kept finding myself looking over and trying to watch the movie because it was that cool. A lot of action in the beginning. And it looks like it's just starting to get into the actual story behind it. So I'll definitely watch it after this, finish it. But so far, so good. I like it a lot.
Okay. Was it, I know you don't watch a ton of movies, but this was like one of the first films with Natalie Portman. Was it odd to see her back being so young?
Yeah. Very strange.
Okay.
I didn't pick up on it for a while, but then I caught on and I was like, oh, wow.
Right.
But yeah, really cool. I'm not a huge movie guy, so there's some connecting the dots with some of the actors, but very much kind of a hitman, pseudo mobster action film. I don't know. Yeah, I like it.
Cool. So you're excited about finishing it then?
100%.
Okay. Well, we can leave it right there then, and hopefully by the time we get back here in a week, you'll have had a chance to finish it. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on seeing the rest.
Yep.
Cool. Which leaves one person, Cory Schnozzcast.
Yeah.
Cory had the original Sound of Music, right?
He had Kill Bill Volume 1.
The original Sound of Music, I watch that every day, so it's really not much of a
The hills
challenge.
are alive.
Kill Bill Volume 1. I actually
First of all, did you watch it?
I did. Well, I can send you the notes to prove that I watched it.
Okay. Yeah, I believe you if you said you did.
I believe I stopped my notes on page 4.
Did you finish it?
I did.
Okay.
So I mean, clearly we've done Tarantino movies, in Gentleman's Challenge prior to this. So that's
and I'm loving the notes that you're taking from it and your sort of immersion into that universe.
Yeah. So coming out of the gate, it was already had a plus to it being a Tarantino movie. But there were some questions I had. So starting out, revenge is a dish best served cold. And that was quoted as an old Klingon proverb. Now, I'm not much of a Star Wars or Star Trek fan, but I am very aware that Klingon is what they speak in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Maybe I got too carried away in my notes at some point during some of this.
I was going to say, how drunk were you when you watched this movie?
Not at all. I was very immersed with trying to take notes and take the movie in.
Okay, so what is your question?
Well, because there was also another reference in the in the middle of the movie to something about Star Trek.
Okay. So Tarantino's a big Star Trek fan. In fact, the rumor was going around for a long time that he was going to write the next Star Trek movie. But I don't think it's going to happen.
So I just want to say about when does Darth Vader show up? when does he show up? I got you on this one, Bob.
Yeah, because they were when Uma Thurman was talking about Sophie Fatel's character.
Okay.
She referenced how she was dressed as the captain in Star Trek, or a captain in Star Trek.
Right.
So to me, like I said, with just 2 Star Trek references alone, I'm like, I don't know if it actually related to the movie itself or there was just underlying tone of Star Trek because that's what Tarantino likes.
Yeah, I think that's it. And when he writes the script, as he does for pretty much everything he makes, he's going to fill it with a mashup of different pop culture references, and I think that's pretty much just it.
I almost don't know how much I believe the Cory notes, as I would believe more so.
Wikipedia copy paste.
Yeah, Cory just isn't that deep with most things, and I feel like that a Cory thing to do would be procrastinating to the end and then getting the abridgment of someone that reviewed it and had questions about the movies, and Cory being like, I did notice that there were parallels between this movie and Jurassic Park when he said this line. And I feel like that's more believable than Cory taking all these notes and piecing all these things together.
So what you're saying to me, Nick Bader, is that I should probably start preparing a couple of trivia questions to ask Cory that would prove, without a shadow of a doubt, that he actually watched the movie.
Correct.
There you go.
Okay. I can definitely do that. I did not do that for today, but I can do that.
Well, what I'm going to do here is I will send you guys my notes.
Anyone can copy and paste someone else's notes into a Word file.
No, you'll clearly be able to tell that this is these are notes.
By the misspelled words or what?
Are these handwritten notes?
I was going to say, is this in your own chicken scratching? All I can say, Nick, is I would be supremely disappointed and almost pissed off if he actually didn't watch the movie.
But how easy would that be? Anyone can. Cory's a bullshitter, and I'm a bullshitter. So I could easily, rhetorically bullshit my way through someone else's notes and be like, actually, it did surprise me that Gene Hackman showed up, because you wouldn't necessarily recognize the fact that wore that same outfit in Coming of Ages in 1994. And Bob would be like, oh, yeah. God, I'm actually surprised you noticed that. And you could talk and Cory would look like the hero.
I believe you, Cory.
I see where you're going with this.
I just know
I don't know. I guess
well.
if he's going to send us some notes, I'll reserve judgment. But
already sent.
If it'll make you feel better, I will prepare. If I happen to draw his name in the next gentleman's agreement, I will prepare some questions.
I'm just planting the seeds, my friend. Just planting the seeds.
Okay. Continue, Cory.
So, again, the beginning, Tarantino has a very, it seems like a lot of his movies run together in the same fashion. Very slow, long beginning, just like Jackie Brown. To me, that's a downside to some of his movies. The openings are a little much. But so that one of the questions I did have that was eventually answered at the very end. All the opening credits, the characters, they had numbers by their names, which I've never seen in an opening credit before.
Mm-hmm.
So that originally came out like, why would those people be numbered? And then like all the supporting people didn't have any numbers, so it went up to number 5. Mm-hmm. Which at the end of the movie, it wrapped that all up, and you see the list she makes on the plane of the people that she was going to say.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I think it's implied when we do the gentleman's agreement that
there's going to be some spoilers.
Yeah.
So yeah, the end of it, it wraps it up where those numbers come from through the 1 through 5. So eliminated that question. Obviously, right out of the gate, started out very, very quick with the action and the fight in the kitchen between Thurman and what was her name? Hang on, I can tell you.
Like Barry.
Jeannie Bell, but also she went by Fernita Green, or Copperhead was her assassin's name in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I did find it humorous with the whole how they stopped when the daughter came in and everything was cordial and they were all covered in blood and sweating from fighting. But once Jeannie Bell's daughter came in, they completely stopped, hid their knives and everything, and it was a humorous scene. But
hold on.
Yes.
Trivia question.
Mm-hmm.
Who won the fight?
Oh, well, Thurman's character ends up, well, again, huge spoiler.
Huge spoiler.
Jeannie Bell goes to pull a cereal box down from the counter and goes to shoot Uma Thurman's character, who's also referred to as the bride in the movie once everything gets going.
Mm-hmm.
But goes to shoot her, and Thurman gets her right in the chest with a knife by throwing a knife.
Okay. And then after that, what happens?
The daughter comes out,
Mm-hmm.
and the bride, Thurman, explains to the daughter that she was basically sad that she had to see that, but she would be there for her for the rest of her life and anything that she needed.
Close.
Because I know I actually noted on that part too.
What else did she say to the daughter?
You refer to my notes here.
She tells the kid her mother had it coming and explains that when she grows up and wants to know more, she will be there for her.
Okay, but you could be reading a script right now.
Oh, if you look at your messages, I sent you the notes. So
I refuse.
okay. That's
Well, you watched the movie one time, but you can quote the lines.
I just read it from my notes.
I'm not asking him to quote the lines, just the general, the general gist of the conversation. Because essentially, at that moment, she's killed this girl's mother, who was also a hitman assassin in the club that Uma Thurman was in. So it's like assassin versus assassin. Someone's got to win. Uma Thurman wins. She ends up killing Vernita Green, but Vernita's daughter comes in and sees her mother laying there on the kitchen floor. And then she tells her, like, hey, when you grow up, if you still feel kind of raw about it, you come and find me.
Well, I saw that much at Uncle Ray's when you made me watch it.
So what was I missing there? What were you looking for?
Just that, not that I'll be there for you, because she didn't say she'd be there for her. She basically said, if you still feel raw about this, you come find me, and then we'll do what needs to be done. Setting up what might be, if he ever does a volume 3, which has always been bandied about, that the bride might end up having to fight that girl all grown up.
I mean, that makes sense. And again, that goes to show you that they were my notes, because that's how I noted it. That's what I got out of it, that she was going to be there for. But I see where you're coming from with it. Nick,
I'm not calling bullshit. I'm just paying attention. So
keep going. No, I appreciate it.
The massacre of the wedding party, obviously one of the big scenes of the one. It tells you right in the movie, because every big scene is labeled by a chapter. So when they find that Thurman had been, everyone at the wedding was gunned down, and when the two old school Texas detectives go walk over Thurman's body, they discover that when she coughs and spits blood in their face, that she had not been killed by the assassins that came into the church. Hence where she gets her term throughout the movie as the bride. I mean, I don't want to break down the entire movie here, but
no, just your impressions of, parts you liked, parts you didn't like.
The scene with when Thurman's supposedly dead body was in the morgue, and the guy comes in and pays the $75 to how do you put there? How would you say, have coitus with the dead body?
Mm-hmm.
And I never knew where it. I've heard people say it before, but there was a line that the guy gives. Maybe I didn't note that the line. There was something he said about right before he was about to do it that I've heard plenty of people quote, and then that hit me that okay, well it's a Kill Bill line.
Okay.
Her plumbing down there don't work anymore.
That's it, Joe. So Joe remembers the line.
That was one of them, but that wasn't the line that I was thinking of. Because he throws the dirty bottle of Vaseline at him.
Yeah, you can't hit her in the face. No marks.
That's what it is. Your name is Buck, and you came here to fuck.
Yep, that's the one.
So, after that entire scene, another question I had, I guess I never got the entire answer on the entropy she had in her feet when she gets in Buck's truck, and after she crawls there, she couldn't move her feet or walk. And I don't know if that was just implied that it came about from when she was shot at the wedding, but I never really said why she lost feeling in her legs for that temporary amount of time.
Oh,
she was in a coma. She's been laying there for however long. Year and a half.
I think what's more important in that scene is how she got the feeling back, which will tie into some scenes in volume 2.
Okay. Yeah, how she basically kind of, it's a mind over matter thing. It seemed like, and she talks herself into being able to move her feet again and start walking.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than that as you'll come if once you get to volume 2, it'll shed a little bit more light on that.
Okay, makes sense.
Cory,
yes.
What Tarantino regular is in the church scene, black and white church scene?
Tarantino in the church scene.
The black and white scene when they're in the church.
Who played the piano player?
The piano player, yeah.
I didn't even pay attention to that. I can't. There's in relation to that though. I can't tell you someone else I did notice in the movie, but
who's that?
He's from all the Billy Madison movies.
Billy Madison?
Or it's the Adam Sandler movie. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Nick.
I don't know which actor you're referring to.
Hey Danielle.
I'll find his name.
Sorry, keep going.
No, what was it? Who was the piano player?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, Joe, you may have hit upon, because now I'm trying to remember. Was that in volume 1 or 2?
It was in 1.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah, he was there, but they didn't kind of close up on him. But he's in the credits at the end. So.
Oh. So that's not really fair, because
it is.
No, because they don't actually show his face or have him speak, I think, until volume 2.
Yeah.
And so that's not really fair, because you'd have to have been looking at the whole frame and look at the credits. Like I wouldn't hold anybody to that standard.
If he would have known that, it would have been like, okay, he watched it.
Yeah. Or he read the credits on IMDb.
Or that.
He's about to know it in a second.
No, don't look it up, because it's just going to spoil it for you. Seriously, dude.
No, I'm looking up the name of the character that I was talking about.
Okay.
Looking up more of my notes.
Is it Billy Madison?
No, it's one of the guys he's a reoccurring actor in all Adam Sandler's movies.
Adam Sandler.
No, pretty sure Adam Sandler wasn't in
Carl Weathers.
Jonathan
Taylor
Loughran.
Thomas.
I don't know who that is. Who did he play in Happy Gilmore?
He was not in Happy Gilmore. He was in. I know he was in Big Daddy. He's the big dude. That's when he's standing at the urinal, and the gay guys peek over at him.
The guy. You mean the guy that tries to have sex with her? Because he's in all the Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah, that's Jonathan.
Yeah. Bob, you remember in Grandma's Boy when they're kicking him out of the house and he's like, I spent all the rent money on Filipino hookers, and the guys are like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you're a hooker. That's the guy. You'd recognize.
Who did he play in Kill Bill Volume 1?
He was the guy he was the Vaseline guy. No, he was the other guy. The guy that came in to have sex and she bit his lip.
Yeah, he's Buck.
You're thinking of Rob Schneider.
Oh, okay.
No.
He was Buck and he likes to fuck.
Yes.
No, Buck's the male nurse.
No.
Yeah.
Buck's
No,
not-
I don't think you're right about that.
Yeah, Buck's not Buck. I don't think Buck's the male nurse.
Buck's
The guy who comes and saying, "My name is Buck and I'd like to fuck," is not the male nurse. The male nurse is the guy who brings the guy in to do the fucking.
No, the male nurse is the guy that drives the pussy wagon, which is
Right.
Buck.
His name isn't Buck. Buck is the other guy.
No, it's not, because they flashback. Trust me, look it up.
Oh,
They flashback. Remember how they slow him down and he's like,
I
"My name
stand
is
corrected.
Buck." Yeah.
You are, yeah. Joe has definitely seen this movie.
I know everything about it. Not everything.
Yep. I stand corrected. You are right. He is Buck.
And then she slits it.
I didn't realize it was in a flashback. Yep.
But he in the Waterboy, he played the
cross-eyed guy.
Yeah, the cross-eyed guy.
Yes.
Beer.
Okay. And now
I know
I
what
know
I'm talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Sorry. Go. Keep going.
Going in the origin of Oren, and I think the one thing that was kind of interesting to me that you don't see in many movies is the correlation of a cartoonization scene. I mean, there was a whole 5-6 minute scene of like a Japanese anime cartoon, and obviously it fits in well with the movie. Given the story of the samurai sword and all that, and but it was just interesting because you never really pay attention to that. Not too many movies intertwine the two. Yeah. And it wasn't just like it was a quick little blurb or reference. Like I said, it was that whole 5-6 minute scene. So I thought that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Finding out that Matsumoto was a pedophile, and Oren ends up killing him with one of the samurai swords.
Yeah. Do you remember her speech in the boardroom?
I do. Right before she cut the dude's head off. Mm-hmm. But I obviously I wouldn't be able to quote the speech, but.
Okay. What'd you think about the big scene at the House of Blue Leaves, the big battle scene?
What's the gang called, Cory?
Ooh, that's a good one, Joe.
The masked gang.
Oren's gang.
Oren's gang? Crazy 88.
Okay. What do you remember? Here's a good trivia question. What did she call the waiter who kept bringing Oren and her crew drinks right before the battle? He and his wife kept running up there getting drinks, and he was wearing a very specific outfit that led everybody to call him by this certain name. Joe, do you remember?
I know.
I don't think it's fair. I think you should be looking at us and not your notes.
Well, how am I going to not look at my notes and go back through the notes?
When did you watch this movie? Today or last night?
Last night.
Last night?
Mm-hmm. That I do not recall as far as the waiter.
Think of it. It has something to do with what Uma Thurman wears in her fight scenes.
He was wearing a yellow kimono.
Yeah.
And there was a particular zigzag marking across his belly.
Charlie Brown.
There you go.
Charlie Brown.
What do you think of the big battle? I mean, that was seriously the biggest fight scene of the entire movie.
No, I mean it was very gory and intense. It was a great scene because that really kind of wrapped up the movie right there. Like everything after that was kind of downhill. So I thought it was a great scene.
Okay.
I
don't think Nick is convinced.
That's fine. He doesn't have to be.
No, I feel like I've watched the movie myself. I mean,
well, so I said I don't want to. I didn't realize how extensive I got with breaking down every scene.
If you actually watch the movie and you're taking notes this detailed and want to discuss it in length, your thoughts, your reactions, like I'm all for that. I'd obviously be quite disappointed to find out that you actually didn't watch it. They'll be like, well, God, if you even the time that you took to read about it, fake understand it, put the notes together, you might as well just fucking watched it.
Well, yeah,
Cory would stoop solo.
Oh, he would for sure.
But no, I ended up I watched it last night. So, But in the long run, yes, very good movie. And even if it's not part of the gentleman's agreement, probably go on to watch Volume 2 just to tie some of the loose ends up.
And even if you didn't watch it and you went this far to convince us that you did, more power to you, because I wouldn't have went this far.
Again, it wouldn't.
I fell asleep. It was boring.
It wouldn't have been worth the time or effort.
Cat wouldn't leave me alone.
So yes, highly recommended.
All right, awesome. Because obviously, if I draw your name again, I'm going to give you Volume 2. But if you liked it, if you truly watched it and you liked it, maybe you won't need a gentleman's agreement to want to finish up the story in Volume 2. Because I would even go as far as to say I like Volume 2 better than Volume 1. Joe?
I think so too. Yeah, it kicks it up a notch.
Yeah, I would say we could probably just even leave that out of the gentleman's agreement. I would probably just watch that on my own when I get a chance.
Even though Bill in Volume 2, the actor annoys me, the way he talks and blah, blah, blah. Oh, well, hey, Cory.
Oh, no, seriously, Joe?
Just his dryness. He's kind of whatever.
But did you ever watch Kung Fu back in the day?
I've seen bits and pieces. Have you ever seen Lone Wolf McQuade? The way he keeps taking a drag off that cigarette or whatever.
A long time. Yeah.
So David Carradine is Bill in Volume 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's Bill in Volume 1 too, but I don't think he's straight. I think you might hear his voice.
You never actually see him.
Yeah. But I never
watched Kung Fu.
Carradine and Chuck Norris in Lone Wolf McQuade?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good movie.
I personally, it was like Cory, when you watch Jackie Brown and you see Robert Forster playing the character Max Cherry. Ring any bells? Okay. Robert Forster was a character actor from, back in the 70s, 80s, and kind of had, just like Tarantino brought Travolta back from Look Who's Talking and the Talking Baby fucking films for Pulp Fiction. He did the same thing with Robert Forster in Jackie Brown. And I would argue that in Kill Bill Volume 1, that David Carradine is his Travolta for the movie.
Okay.
And he gives him all the choice dialogue. He gives him like long monologues in the end. And I think he does a really good job with it because he's not really meant to be, to have the fight scenes that Uma Thurman does. He's kind of meant to be, what would you call it? He's like the character in Kung Fu, but older and sort of he's the head of this clan and there's lots of backstory and he plays a big factor in Volume 2. One more question. What is the name of the sword maker who makes the swords that Uma Thurman and Oren and everybody uses? Don't look at look at me. Look at me.
What the fuck is the point of me taking notes if I can't look at him?
Because his name is peppered throughout the entire movie, and I feel like if you watch the movie, you should know that name.
I didn't recall. I didn't soak that much in from last night of watching it that I recall his name offhand like that.
Oh man, see now I'm questioning everything.
All right, question it.
Cory had that look on his face. He's like, "Oh my god, they bought it."
It's like watching Star Wars, and you're like, "What was the name of the bad guy?" And you're like, "I don't know."
The black guy, the black guy.
Yeah, he wore a mask with a big helmet. No idea. I'm like, oh man. See, we need to move on now because
Jet Li? No, not Jet Li.
Japanese Steel.
Time for a shot. Time for a shot.
I know.
The only thing that's going to pull me out of this funk. Come on, Nick. You got a shot ready?
I do.
All right, let's do it.
That made me smile.
I'm not smiling.
I believe you, Cory. I'm just busting balls.
I busted balls too, but now I'm like, God damn it. That's something I think you should.
Like I said, if he went to these lengths, it's convincing enough for me. So it's Hattori Hanzo, by the way.
It was like
how the fuck was I going to remember that?
Because it's the name of there's literally a whole section where she gets trained by this guy and he's the one who makes all the swords for all the main characters.
I've only seen it once.
Well, see, so here's the thing.
No, many times.
It's like what Cory's experiencing, whether he watched it or not. It's like a quote from Friends where Joey explains to Phoebe that there are no selfless good deeds.
and she keeps going through all these different things that she's trying to do to prove to him that there are selfless good deeds. So she said, she's like, you know, I went over to this old man that lives next to me, and I sweeped up all the leaves off his stoop. She's like, see, Joey, it's a selfless good deed. And he's like, yeah. He's like, but then what happened? Well, he walked outside and it just made me feel so good. He's like, yeah, so it made you feel good. So yeah, it's not selfless. She's like, damn it. And she keeps going through all these different things that she's trying to do. And she goes, well, Joey, she's like holding an ice pack on her arm. She's like, I just went to the park and I just let a bee sting me. So there you go. And he's like, how does that help anybody? And she's like, well, because it makes him look tough in front of all his bee friends. And he's like, well, Phoebe, you know that the bee probably died after he stung you. And she's like, damn it. And she takes off. But there's a quote in Friends that I feel, hits close to Cory's heart right now, which is, she said, no, X, Y, and Z, this and this and this. She said, but I cannot live in a world where Joey is right. And I feel like Cory, of all people, thinks that way about me. Like, I don't care. I am not going to live in a world where anyone thinks what Nick said is right. So I have to go in the other direction and prove them wrong.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
This could go till the end of the podcast, I have a feeling. But
Time for a Schnozzcast chat. So raise them if you've got them. If you want to pause this and get yours, you can go ahead and do that now. And we're back. Here's to you.
Woo. So I say that we continue on. Obviously, I'm going to finish my movie probably tonight. But we continue on Gentleman's Agreement. We'll just have to figure out a fair way to choose each other.
Well, before we do that, I'd like to say, if you're listening to this podcast on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, if you're watching on Facebook Live, send an email to schnozzcast@gmail.com. That's schnozzcast@gmail.com. And tell us, give us a vote. Do you think Cory actually watched Kibble Volume 1, or did he not watch it and he's trying to snowball everybody? We'll take a poll. We may even put the poll on Facebook. I want to know what you think. Give us your vote. You've listened to, hopefully, this whole segment, this whole review, spoiler filled. And I want you to be the judge. I want you to give us your opinion. I'm forming mine. Nick's already formed his. Joe's formed his. And I want to hear what you have to think.
Bob, can I make a suggestion, Joe? I'd make a separate mailbox, because the one mailbox that has all the shot requests in it is probably way full. So I would make a separate one.
I can tell you right now, sir, that mailbox is full of nothing but spam. I've been begging for months for people to send us email.
Honestly, the times I've checked.
I think they're not sending it to me out of spite. I think just out of spite, people are going, no, fuck that.
Even the times I've checked, I don't think there's even been spam in there.
You know why? Because I delete the spam when I go in to read it.
Oh,
so it's not there by the time you get there. Okay.
Wait. Yeah. Oh, spam. Oh, here's what. No, spam.
Let me do some thinking. Nick, I might try to share you know what I might do is maybe we'll do pick of the week first. And then after that, I'll go into Excel and do some formula magic, and I'll share my screen, and we'll do like number picking from there or something like that. To do another gentleman's screen.
We could just not pick the person we had last time.
I was going to say, I haven't had Cory yet, have I? No.
Well, we could go. Well, I don't know what your screen looks like, but mine is like Cory in upper left, me in upper right, and then. No, it's different for everybody? Okay.
Well, I think it probably just goes like this.
Oh, okay.
Cory's counterclockwise to me. Bob, you're right below him, next to Bob.
So I'm looking at the Facebook Live on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook Live shows Cory top left, Bob top right, Joe bottom left, me bottom right.
Yeah, that's what mine shows. Okay. So we could just go clockwise from there, because that way I don't get Cory for like the third time in a row. Cory would get me, and we'd just go around there. So I would get Nick would get Joe would get Cory. And that would also provide some, then if Cory truly did give Joe his pick out of spite, now he's going to have to take Joe's pick. So
I was going to say,
satisfying little.
Let's fucking, if we scratch this and start over and not do it to torture anybody, which I know that's why he did it.
No, it wasn't. In all honesty, it was not to torture you. There was a lot to it that I thought was pretty interesting. So no, it definitely was not a torture pick by any means.
Well, it must ramp up towards the end.
Well, the ending was the best part.
I'll fast forward it to the ending then.
Cory, this could set the record for the podcast in which you are the most full of shit in any podcast that ever recorded.
I can't believe one word he fucking says.
Because it could be, I'm not saying it is, but it definitely could be that you just bookended the end of a 15-minute review of a movie you never watched with a lie about the movie you made Joe watch.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it. It's great.
And it's been nothing but bullshit from you for almost 20 minutes.
I also think there's a strong possibility that Cory had the movie on in the background, but wasn't really paying attention to it, and then just took the cliff notes from like Wikipedia or something just to refresh himself and make him sound like he's really well.
Kill Bill for him. Yeah.
To me, that's almost as bad as not even watching it. Why even fucking wait?
I don't know.
I think that's more or less true, because when he's like, I don't really remember that part, you should be able to not look at notes and just say, oh, yeah, that was really cool. I didn't necessarily remember that, and think off the top of your head. But every time he was like,
I knew the scene that you guys, every time you're talking about a scene, I knew the scene. I didn't know the names or characters, remember the names of people in it. I can meet someone tomorrow and I'm not going to remember their name the following day. That's very true.
Characters play a big plot point in movies.
All I'd like to do is remind all of us. I would like to remind all of us that what we're doing here when we do this gentleman's agreement is not just for us. We're doing it for anybody who happens to be listening or watching, who may want to maybe they've already seen the movie and they want to hear what you have to think, or they haven't seen the movie and they're going to, and we've already said there's going to be no spoilers and they want to see what we're going to say. Either way, it's not for us. It's for the audience. So you kind of owe it to them to watch the movie that you were assigned.
My two things are this. If you're saying something's reoccurring in the movie all the time and he just has no clue what it is, that's number one. Two, looking at the notes. But three, the things he does remember, he remembers the lines verbatim, which I just watched half of that movie. I couldn't tell you the fucking lines out of it.
There was only one line I gave.
Yeah, but you're like quoting lines from the movie, and
because that line stuck out to me, so I made sure I noted it down. That's how notes work.
All right, so I regard Cory to be one of my best friends, and I would hope that if Cory happened to have the movie on in the background and sort of half paying attention and trying to fill in the blanks with the notes, I would hope that going forward he would actually take the time to watch the fucking movie. And that's all I'll say. But going forward,
in the background, I was actually up till 6:30 this morning watching it.
I would implore him,
and I have a witness for that too.
I would implore him not to take notes next time and just tell us how he thinks the movie.
I think that's actually not a bad idea, especially if you've watched it less than 24 hours prior to you giving your review. You should remember. I mean, the name of the guy who made the swords that everybody used in the movie is said more than the name of the main character. That it's a name that you should remember.
I can assure you that's not how my mind works. Especially a crazy ass Japanese name.
But it's a very memorable Japanese name. It's not like Miyusuke Hakamoto. It's a very memorable name.
I'm going to disagree with you because even after Joe just saying it, I can't remember it.
The whole ball of yarn's coming undone.
Jim Mitsubishi.
Sounds like a good guess.
So
all right. So can we agree that going forward we're going to take this gentleman's agreement seriously? And honestly, I'd rather you did what Joe did. I'd rather that if any of us, watched only 20 minutes of the movie and then they had to turn it off because they're like, I just couldn't take it anymore. Just say it. It's fine. That way it's all out in the open and everybody knows it. if you didn't have a chance to watch it, just say you didn't have a chance to watch it. Like Nick's done that for like months, and it's fine because then I know like, well, we're moving on then. That's what we need to do. Hopefully no one is saying they watched a movie they didn't fucking watch. That's all.
Oh, you'll get that from me. If I don't enjoy it, I'm not fucking watching it.
Yeah. And we've gotten it from, well, I think I got it from Danielle.
Yeah, exactly.
The last one I asked her that I gave her, I think she watched 20 minutes of it and she turned it off.
I got that from Danielle. Remember, she watched it.
A turn, yeah. She watched one episode out of 3. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just recommending it. It doesn't mean we have to like it. And if we don't like it, you don't like it.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. If it's so offensive or you're like, man, this is definitely not my cup of tea, and like I could not, it was like jabbing ice picks in my eyes to watch it, then just say that. I'd rather have that than, lots of notes for a movie you didn't watch.
So pick of the week.
Pick of the week. If you guys are, I'll go first. How about that? I'll kick it off. So my pick of the week is if you have HBO Now or HBO of any sort and have a chance to watch this, they just started a new series last Sunday called Run. And it's a brand new series. It's only one episode. It's a 30-minute episode. The premise is fucking amazing, and the actors are incredible. I was on the edge of my seat, and I can't wait to watch the next one. Trying not to. I think this is spoiler free, but I'll say the actress is Merritt Weaver, who was in Nurse Jackie. She's been in a ton of shit. I think if you looked her up, you'd go, oh, I've seen her in something. And the actor, she's the actress, and the actor in the movie is in the series is Domhnall Gleeson, who, if you've watched any of the recent, Star Wars trilogy, the last one, he plays General Hux. He was in Ex Machina. He's been a bunch of shit as well. He's like a ginger Scottish actor. But the two of them are essentially, and I don't think this is spoilers to give away. So I don't think if you want to avoid spoilers, I think I'm only giving away what's in the trailer. The two of them have known each other for a long, long time, like going back, let's say 15 years at least. And now they're living separate lives. But they made a pact that said if either of them were in a place where they just wanted to escape their situation, all they had to do was to text each other and just say run. That's it. And if I text run and you text run back, then we're supposed to meet in New York at this particular train station at the first train after 5 o'clock, and then just leave. And that's the premise of the show. And what happens after they get that text. So that's all I'll say about it. If you got HBO, Run, great show. Highly recommend.
And do you have an HBO Go subscription, or are you going off the free viewing that they're giving everyone?
No,
right now?
I have an HBO Now subscription. So HBO Now is the one, that you get off of like Apple TV or the Amazon Fire TV or the Fire Stick or Roku.
You can get Go as well.
Yeah, but it's a different tier of membership.
Okay.
So yeah, you do have to have an HBO subscription to get it. I know that HBO right now is giving away, or they're letting people view things on their HBO Now platform for free for like 30 days because of the coronavirus.
Yeah, if you go right now, you don't have to sign up for anything. You can just immediately download the app on your Apple TV or whatever you have hooked up to your TV, and you can watch anything they have on there.
Yes, and I would encourage, and I think the Epix app is doing the same thing. I would encourage anybody to do that. If you can get a month of free TV, especially when we're all locked in our fucking houses, absolutely do it. But I think that because this is a brand new show that just debuted this past weekend, I don't think it counts in that. I don't think you're going to get to see it. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't think that I think what they're trying to do is give you access to all their older content like Sopranos, The Wire, You know what I mean? Curb Your Enthusiasm, all the older shows, Game of Thrones, that they had in their platform, not necessarily new shit that's just starting like less than a week ago. I could be wrong though. All right, I need to let the dog out. Who's got a pick they want to go next?
I can go with mine.
Okay.
So following with and this kind of also will correlate to when we do the gentleman's agreement, but it is available on HBO Go and Hulu. It's a documentary called McMillions, and it goes through the course of, when the Monopoly game started at McDonald's over 30 years ago. Like looking back on it now, you kind of, I don't know if you guys remember, but you never really heard about anyone winning the big prizes, the $1 million tickets and all that. There was a big reason behind why you weren't hearing about winners and people winning those $1 million tickets. Yes, Nick.
Did you not do this as a news article one time?
I did. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if it was my pick of the week, but yeah, I went into detail about this. Is McMillions?
Yeah, this is the actual documentary.
Okay, I don't want to shit all over your. It sounded familiar, but I don't want to. Shit all over your pick.
And you might have covered it. Yeah, you might.
Yeah, go keep going, because there's people that I don't know how many episodes it was ago that I talked about it. So yeah,
I just thought it was familiar. That's all.
Yeah, no. If
keep going.
If I know it was a big news story, but like I said, this is the actual documentary on it, and it has.
I talked about the documentary having watched it, but it was probably at least 10 episodes ago, so it's worth another mention for people who are just like trying to, let's say they're just now starting to listen to the podcast.
Oh,
so definitely.
I can do a double-sided one here. So McMillions on Hulu and HBO Go.
Oh, it's on Hulu now?
Yes, on Hulu. Yes.
Oh, okay. I had to watch it on HBO. So if it's on Hulu now, that's great. That's worth mentioning right there.
That and another good thing to look up on A&E TV, the new series of Celebrity Ghost Stories. There's only 2 episodes out right now. The first one is with Terry Bradshaw, and the second one is with Ice-T. And they've actually had some
celebrity. Sorry, it's called Celebrity Ghost Stories.
Celebrity Ghost Stories, and they go and they've had some pretty crazy encounters with spirits and entities that they actually open up to this filmmaker about, and they kind of recount everything and have a medium come in, and it's there's some good evidence and some great stories that they present in the show. So I watched both those episodes last night, and very, very entertaining show.
Question.
Yes.
When did you watch McMillions?
3-4 days ago.
Okay, but last night you watched 2 episodes of the ghost story thing, and you watched Kill Bill Volume 1?
I did. That's why I was up till 6:30 in the morning.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, Danielle and I watched the Celebrity Ghost Stories, and then once you decided to go to sleep, I turned on Kill Bill.
All right, I saw a little glimmer of WTF in Joe's face, and I had to ask the question.
Yeah, no.
Hey, don't blame it on me.
All right, Joe, you got a pick of the week you want to recommend for somebody?
Yeah, but I'm going to go back. It's not a news show. And I don't know how everyone's humor is, but I really enjoy British humor. Very much so.
Okay.
It was probably on for 8 seasons back in the 70s. It's called Are You Being Served? I remember, you ever hear of it?
I've heard of it, yeah. Haven't seen it yet.
I picked it up. I remember in high school, they used to play it on PBS. They'd play an episode and then an episode of Red Green, which is also good too. But Are You Being Served? It's like a department store based thing in Britain. And all these people work together, and it's nothing but like sexual double entendre lines, and it's cleverly written, and the characters are really good too. I couldn't tell you if it's got to be on something. It's got to be on Hulu or something. So if you can find it, watch it. Because
you know what, Joe, you and I should probably like maybe split a subscription to BritBox. Have you ever heard of BritBox?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's a subscription-based service where they air a lot of the older, like deep British shows off the BBC, like BBC 1, 2, or 3, where that may not have aired anywhere in the States, not even through through like Windsor, which is where we generally would get like Benny Hill and the Young
Benny Hill.
all that shit. But things like I know I've got a good friend, Kate, who's from the UK, from England, and she's recommended Are You Being Served a couple of times, and I've just never gotten around to watching it. So I have heard it was
show.
good.
Very good show.
Okay. But to get to that show, where can they find that show now?
Now I couldn't tell you. It's got to be on something. It's got to be on Hulu, or it was pretty popular show. But I remember I got into it back in the day. It was on PBS, but it's not on there anymore. You can watch them on YouTube. They got them all on YouTube. So at least the good ones they do.
So, on a side note, I know I've used this as a pick of the week before, but there was a website that I had recommended in the past called Just Watch, where if you're looking for something like Kill Bill Volume 1 or Are You Being Served or The Professional, and you want to know, hey, is this available somewhere for me to stream? Is it on HBO? Is it on Amazon Prime? Is it on Hulu? I own a couple of those services. Where can I get it for free versus paying for it to rent? They now have an app that you can download for iOS or Android called Just Watch. And it's fucking great because you can save your lists. And it's a really quick way to go like, oh, somebody recommends something to you and you want to know, like, where is this available? How much is it going to cost me for me to rent? Let's say I only pay for Netflix. Is it on Netflix? This is a great way to figure that out. So Just Watch app.
You have it on your phone?
I have it on my phone right now, and I'm looking up. Are You Being?
I was say, do me a solid. Look it up because my phone's like way over there. I don't know if you understand it.
Show from 1972. It is currently available to stream on BritBox or BritBox through Amazon. There's 10 seasons.
Yeah.
So
are you talking about Are You Being Served?
Yeah, that's exactly what we've been talking about for the last 5 minutes.
No, I know, but I was looking up the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
And it says here 7-day free trial through Amazon Video.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's a 7-day free trial of BritBox.
Right,
through
correct.
We'll have to go halvesies on that, Bob.
We might have to because I'm not going to get through 10
long.
seasons in 7 days. So it might have to be something we can see if we could split.
All right.
Good pick, man. Nick Bader, squaring off the square.
Yeah, so mine is Gina says red green. If the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy.
There you go. That's a great show. I love it. I saw him live at the Michael A. Guido Performing Arts Center
in Dearborn.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nick
but mine's gonna be
what an odd thing to see.
Mine's gonna touch on what I already explained to you guys, but the podcast listeners didn't get to know this pick of the week, but was the Brewmate. And I wanted to, if people can't see, this is what I'm drinking out of right now. Danielle actually had the first one. I have one of her other ones over here, but hers is way more effeminate. And
all right, so start from the beginning and assume that the audio listeners who can't see it, like spell Brewmate, describe what it is and where they can go to find it.
Look at the texture in this.
So Brewmate, BRU MATE. And it's basically kind of the concept behind like a Yeti cup, but it's a Yeti cup for different sorts of beers or drinks. And I want to point out this one especially. So it's got a vacuum seal on the inside. They're made of steel, but this one's a 3-in-1. I didn't want to necessarily get like a Yeti cup for a 12-ounce beer because I like all different kinds of beer, and I drink 16 ounces. I drink bottles, 12 ounces, and it just didn't make sense for me to spend $30 on something that can only hold one. But this is their 3-in-1, so it basically, for people that can't see, it has like a rubber grommet on the top that keeps the beer secure. It screws in, but it's a stainless steel, vacuum sealed, like cooling cup, keeps everything cold. This one actually comes with a top that you can open and close, like a sippy cup top. You can knock it over, it won't spill as long as the top's closed. But this one, the reason they call 3-in-1, that you can use the canister itself as a 16-ounce pint, and it keeps everything cold. It comes with a puck, a small black puck that goes on the inside. It normally fits a 16-ounce can. The rubber grommet will screw into the top to keep the 16-ounce can cold. But if you were to drop a normal 12-ounce can into the top of it, it would fall down, 3 inches before the lip. So the puck acts as a little stool on the inside that the beer can sit on, so where your 12-ounce can reach the top of the lip. But I thought was ingenious about it is that the puck actually has a liquid inside that you could freeze it. So it's freezing cold. And once you put it inside the vacuum seal and then put your 12-ounce can inside, it sits right on top. And not only will it keep the beer at whatever temperature you put it in there at, but it'll constantly get it colder while you're drinking it. And since it's in a vacuum seal, as you guys that have Yeti cups know, I can leave my Yeti cup full of ice and water on my nightstand, and 3 days later, there's still ice floating in it. So, that puck that's in the bottom isn't just going to melt after one beer and you're going to be done. So I like the idea that, for the $30, you get, the availability to put 3 different kinds of beer. If you want to pour a bottle in, if you want to throw a 16 or a 12-ounce in, and this whole time it's been ice cold. So Brewmate, you can get it on Amazon Prime, or you can go to their website.
You said that was Brumate?
No, I said it was BRU MAT.
Just wanted to make you say umlaut again.
Yep.
So if you search for it without the umlaut, you're not going to find the site.
Fucked.
It might.
I want to know what you want to find or what you're going to find.
The umlaut makes the long U sound. Brewmate instead of Brummett.
That's awesome. That's a good pick.
Yep. And for people that can see the Facebook Live, I'll show you Danielle's, which is very effeminate.
He says it's Danielle's, but we know it's really his.
That's just the second one Nick ordered. Holds his White Claws.
Yeah, it also has rubber on the bottom of it, so it doesn't knock over very easily. So that's kind of cool.
Nice. Awesome.
Nice to know I can come back to my open beer 3 days later and it's still going to be cold.
Yes, it will.
Flat,
when you wake up the next morning and you need some hair of the dog because you're just beside yourself, it's going to be ready for you.
But the good thing about the beer that Joe drinks is that it's so cheap to buy 100 of them that you could just open it. You could open another one that's actually in the fridge, and it's not going to really cost you anything but pennies.
Or you should not take forever to drink a goddamn beer. Unless you're in the goddamn desert, it shouldn't take you that long to drink a beer. Kind of alcoholic are you?
I've never had a beer in the desert.
On a horse with no name? No dad joke? No response?
No, I'd want to get me one of those, but I'd be stupid and leave it somewhere or someone would nab it.
Yeah, me too.
I would. I'd set it down and
I think
forget
we've
about it.
Well, that's the good thing. You could leave it here for the podcast, and when you come back, you'll always have your beer cold. Just like Danielle did.
Is there there's nothing in there, is there?
Yeah.
Oh.
If there was, it'd still be cold.
It'd be cold. That's right.
Now, will it keep stuff hot or just cold?
Yeah, because it's a vacuum. It's very difficult for, that's why space, there's so much with
forget I asked that. Never mind. Moving on. I'm kidding.
With temperature, yeah, it's very hard to conduct, any kind of temperature shift in a vacuum. So it is an amazing insulator. If the vacuum actually went over the entire beer, it would probably stay cold for weeks.
You might hit on something. You have to make one that goes over the entire beer.
And then you can't drink it.
Sure you could. Well, then you got to figure out a way. You could be breaking the physics barrier as we know it.
I will bring a physicist on this podcast.
Could you please?
See, Joe, it can't be done.
Speaking of that, speaking of bringing people on the podcast, before we cut this short, because Cory, I am at 2:12.
Over 2 hours already? My God.
Yeah, dude, this is what happens when we're prepared. It's boom, 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 and we're trying to keep it to 2 hours and under. So, I did see today that on Facebook, Detroit Paranormal Expeditions was advertising for a tarot card reader that they know.
I'm up.
For a tarot card reader that they know is going to be doing free sessions on her Facebook page today. So I sent Todd Bonner a message through Facebook and said, "Hey, I saw your ad. Do you think she'd be interested in doing it on our podcast?" And he said, "I don't know. Let me check." And I said, "Thanks, brother. I appreciate that." So I'm hoping that he may, get her on board with the idea of maybe coming on to our podcast for a little bit, and maybe not for like the whole 2 hour period, but certainly giving her the floor for anywhere from like 30 to 60 minutes to explain the art of tarot card reading and maybe do a couple readings for us.
Do you think that's
That'd be
something
pretty
she
sweet.
can do over Zoom?
Well, she's doing it over Facebook Live, so I would assume that it would be the same thing. I have, obviously, with us being busy on this, I didn't have a chance to attend that one, so I didn't see exactly how it went, but maybe it'll be available for me to watch after the fact so I can kind of get an idea of what she's doing. But even just to start the conversation with her and say, hey, in case you didn't know who we were, we've worked with Todd and Jeff for DPX in this capacity. We had them on. You can ask them how we are as hosts and, how we, engaged them and basically gave them full reign over the podcast for the whole 2 hours. We're interested in doing something similar with you. She can go back and listen or watch that episode and make up her mind. Maybe it's something that she'd be interested in doing.
So here's a cool spin-off of that.
Yeah.
If she's not, or if she's busy or whatever,
Mhm.
Along the same parallel is the Fiverr app.
Yeah.
Is there an app or is there a service where, for $15 an hour, we could say, hey, reach out to somebody that does that and say, hey, we'll give you $15. Would you be willing to come on Zoom and, for an hour be with us and do something similar?
Oh, someone who's a voiceover artist on Fiverr?
No. With the fact that on Fiverr, we can pay to have a professional do whatever we need them to do.
Yeah.
If this person doesn't want to, or she's too busy, we may be able to reach out to somebody out in the internet that does readings, over.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Over the internet like that and say, hey, would you be willing? Yeah, we want to buy your service, but would you come on the podcast?
Yeah, for a reduced rate, we're willing to give you some advertising, some free advertising. Our audience isn't necessarily huge, but I would just like to give it. I'd rather give it to someone who knows the DPX boys, and we have that connection through them.
If she says no,
for sure. If she says no, yeah, I think it'd be an interesting. Like I told you on the phone, Nick, I know as much about tarot card reading as I did about ghost hunting before we had DPX on, but it was pretty interesting, pretty entertaining and informative, even for me. So I'd absolutely be willing to give it a try. I know nothing about tarot card reading.
Cash only. No cards, no checks. You got cash? Yeah, come in.
Now I'm questioning whether or not I want Joe on this podcast.
I won't say anything.
And we'll change all of our names. So, like Cory could be like Soupy Sales. And
Soupy Sales. That's a good one.
Joe could be something else. And we could be like, oh, who are we?
So
See
to
if she knows.
tie into all this real quick, bringing someone
Good
on.
reference, Nick. Soupy
A
Sales.
quick, there's a quick little guest here.
Jason.
No fucking way. Ladies and gentlemen, we may be about to get a treat. You've heard about him for 69 episodes. We've referenced his place of business, Uncle Ray's, for no at no profit to the podcast. And now apparently we're going to get the owner and proprietor of Uncle Ray's, Jason Thomas.
There he is.
Joining us.
I'm trying to see myself. Like, this is new to me. So
It's not about you seeing yourself. It's about making sure everybody can see you, Jason.
Trust me, it took a lot of messaging to get this taken care of. So,
Wow.
So Jason,
like, my kids have been doing this Zoom stuff for like, oh my God, every day. You know, I don't even see my teenagers, but you know, they're up in their rooms and I hear the Zoom stuff going on.
Are you sitting inside of like a canoe or something like that? What is that? Where are you?
The ark. It's the ark.
There's my house.
Oh, okay. It's your vault ceiling. Okay.
Yeah, right. The vault ceiling.
I thought it was the ribs of a canoe.
Yeah, I did. It looks funny, doesn't it? But you know, man.
Corey, you may have to tell him how to click gallery view so he can see everybody.
Yeah, how do I do that?
there should be up in the right corner. You're on an iPad, correct?
Yeah.
It should say speaker view right now. It also should say gallery view.
We'll say gallery view if you're in speaker view. So
Jason, tap the screen. There you go.
There we go.
there you go.
Now you got everyone.
Jason Thomas, everybody, the owner proprietor of Uncle Ray's. Our audience has heard about you for almost a year. We've been giving you free advertising.
Let's get one thing straight, man. I don't own that bar. That bar owns me.
Okay. All right.
It owns me, man.
Okay.
Jason, since you're on here,
Hey,
if you're
Joe,
ever there,
Joe.
how's it going? But since you're on here now, I'm putting this on you. If they ever ask you for a shot of Bacardio, do not pour it, because I'll never set foot in your bar again, because I'll vomit everywhere, unless you want to clean up my barf.
Joe, that's a great way to get started with the owner of a bar, is to tell him how you're never going to go to his bar again.
No, only if he pours Bacardio.
That barf stuff don't bother me no more, man. I've been raised on barf all over.
Let's just be honest here. Let's be honest.
Some
Jason's. If anyone's pouring shots, it ain't going to be Jason.
Or if you see.
Jason can make someone do it.
That's true.
I think I've got you guys for in my time.
You've told Dawn to get it.
Yeah.
So Jason,
Right.
since we have you, and it's been quite some time since we've been able to come up to the old Uncle Ray's.
And we miss you, buddy. We do.
Definitely miss you. Thanks for coming on. Big time.
Yeah, man.
How's everything going up there?
Nothing, man. Just I'm doing a big cleanup, making sure everything's cleaned up, and I want to make sure it's safe for, all my customers and my employees and everybody, so, just doing a little bit of things here and there, cleaning, but other than that, very quiet.
You still doing carry out?
No,
No carry out?
no, I knew it was only a matter of time before that virus walked in the door through a money, credit card, an employee. And,
Right.
let's face it, you don't know where your employees have been.
Mm-mm.
You have no idea. So I didn't want to take a chance that, anybody, man, gets it, any of my customers or anything. So I just called it. That's it.
Do you foresee, sorry, Nick, do you foresee a time in the near future where you might be able to open up, at least on a limited basis, maybe just carry out, where the way that the bar conducts business is changed due to social distancing that's really going to be with us for the foreseeable future?
Right. Totally different, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
I'm
would
gonna
you-
do what I can do. I was even thinking, I haven't even told my staff this yet, but I was thinking about, once I get everything cleaned up a little bit better, I'm going to do a little bit of painting, a little bit of this, like, the bar, maybe sand it down a little bit, and, maybe some recoating of it. It's just, I want to do some stuff that I can't do with people there. And I'm in the middle of, trying to do a little bit of it. And as soon as I'm done with that, I figured, what, I'm gonna get a massive cleanup for my crew. We're gonna get in there, and maybe we'll start doing carryouts again. We'll start with that, So
Yeah.
but I got to get this stuff done first.
Yeah, I feel like they're kind of making things up as they go along every week, where there's more and more information, there's more and more recommendations. Things are, as far as guidelines go for reopening the economy, more and more thoughts about how that can be done. And, I've read multiple news stories about restaurants that if they want to open up again, they're going to have to adopt like a brand new set of rules where maybe all of the servers wear masks. There's the seating is limited. People who are coming to the restaurant are limited. Whether it's a bar or restaurant, it seems like there's going to be a new pair when things do open up. They're not going to open up the way that they used to be. Like, we're not going back anytime soon to the way things used to be. It's going to be kind of a new paradigm for the way that things are done, just so that we can get things open up again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, you know what? I'm going to do whatever I have to do by the law, and what's safe for everybody. What I feel comfortable is safe for everybody too. So, that's what's important to me too. So, but yeah, I mean, hey, listen, we all got to roll with it, man. It's not even Michigan. It's not Dearborn Heights. It's not USA. It's bigger than that. It's global.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do my part. Whatever that part may be, I will do it to make sure we're all safe. So.
Well, we miss you, buddy. We wish that we were there, and it's one of the things that was such a big part of our routine from week to week. When you guys ended up when you had to make that decision to shut down the carryout, even it was tough, because you're like, we were so used to seeing you, and you were that big part of our lives on a weekly basis that, I can't wait for the day that you can open up again.
Oh, man, me too, man. Let me tell you, Bob, me too, man. I am bored out of my mind.
I'm sure those kids would rather have you out of the house at this point.
My teenagers are in their rooms 90% of the time on the phones, like I said. And all I do is I hear them talking and joking and laughing and all that. God knows what they're doing. I mean, we do our best to police them, but, And my little 6-year-old Emma, well, she is on site 6.5. She's with us all day.
Have they roped you into doing any handstand challenges where you have to take your sweatpants off with your feet while you're standing on your hands? Anything like that? No?
No, man. I'm doing all this stuff. I tell you what, I've done the dishes more at home and made more breakfasts than I have. But I still haven't done the laundry.
Are you making the kids do that? You're making your teenagers?
No, she does all the laundry, man. She's the greatest wife around, man. I tell you, she really takes care of this house, man.
So Jason,
is she standing behind the camera with a rolling pin?
She's
good
not
shit about me.
Read a phone.
You say one bad thing about me.
So Jason, timeline wise, let's say this goes on for a couple months, and you spend the next month doing some improvements that you wanted to get done, but you can't, because you guys, one of the greatest things that, shout out to you, that I can always say is that one of the great things about Uncle Ray's is not only the people, but that you will always stay open. You're always open. You don't shut down early if you're slow or something like that. And I think that's what brings people that they keep coming back. So that being said, now that you have this free time to take care of some stuff, within a month, if that's all said and done, you got that taken care of. Moving forward, what's your plans? What are your ideas in regards to, opening for carryout after the deep clean and everything? What's your timeline?
Well, here's my timeline. I'm hoping that all of this stuff is done within 2 weeks. So, and at that point, like I said, I'm already starting to feel it seems to be plateauing out. It seems to be, listen, I'm not a doctor and I'm not, CDC or nothing, but it seems to be plateauing out. And, I think we have a little more knowledge 3 weeks, 4 weeks into this than we did 3-4 weeks ago. You know what I mean? About wearing masks and the gloves. And I feel we're all more educated about it, and, but yeah, I'd like to do something in 2 weeks, at least start opening on the weekend for carryout, but, let's see how it rolls. We went to Mexican Fiesta today and got a carryout, and they said they've been very busy every day.
Yeah, we went there a couple days ago, and they were absolutely packed.
Yeah.
So theoretically, in that kind of circumstance, what would your staff look like? You'd have your cook, your runner, Would you have somebody for to-go orders or something like that?
Different days are different, you know. So busiest day's Friday. So Friday I would have, I would have probably 2 cooks, a runner, a couple waitresses, bartenders, or not bartenders. Actually, what they would be doing is taking phone calls. Somebody takes calls, somebody takes food out, like that. So we probably run with a crew of 5, 6, something.
Have you ever considered anything like having someone put like an app together where people could order online?
Yeah, I would like that, but I'm not as proficient as some in that aspect. So,
Sure.
I don't even have a website, believe it or not. We're just a little local neighborhood bar, man, in the middle of, anywhere USA. And
But you know what? Even for like Fish Fry Friday, if we can get hooked up with someone who could at least just get you registered, maybe with DoorDash, something like that, where that's a day that you're going to sell a lot of fish. People miss rays and they want fish on Fridays. That's not something you'd have to build a website for as much as you'd have to just work with DoorDash to register with them and get your menu online where people could order and then come and pick up where they kind of pull up. I'm sure you've done it with Mexican Fiesta and other restaurants where you kind of pull up and they ask you what kind of car you're in. They run the order out to you wearing gloves. And they take your card over the phone. And so there's really like a very minimal interaction with that to get that food. And that might be a way where, if Mexican Fiesta can do that now, there's no reason why Uncle Ray's can't do that.
Oh yeah, that's what we were doing. We were doing that Fridays. We were, they have to call in and give the credit card and, or pay cash when we bring it out to you. But we prefer the credit card over the phone because it's a little less interaction with anything, So, that's what we were doing. Same thing Mexican Fiesta's doing. We're coming out there with the food, calling the name. People are waiting, and it was working fine, but it was getting real crazy. That was stuff that's just starting to amp up, and
when you shut down, it was very, no one really knew what was going on at that point. It was like, you just did it out of safety, I'm sure, just to shut everything down. I don't feel like we could all keep each other safe in this work environment.
Yeah. Well, the money just wasn't it to me. It was, it wasn't worth it to put anybody at risk that works for me. And I could tell when I said, hey guys, listen, I'm going to shut down. And I was a lot doing it for them. I mean, it's easier for me to just shut down and be done. Put everything in the freezers and don't have those supplies coming in. Don't have no payroll. But I was trying to help them, and as well as sort of keep yourself out there and alive, but I don't know, it is what it is.
That's what we've been doing. Our lobby's been completely closed. Our runners fully gloved up, masked up, taking stuff out to cars. Bob's son looks like a Batman villain when he goes out there.
He did before that, though, to be fair.
I would say Jack's always looked like that.
To be fair, yeah.
Oh, and and that's the thing too. Like when I told them, I'm like, hey guys, I'm just going to shut it down. They were like, thanks, boss. Like, that makes me feel better. Don't have to worry about this stuff, and I think it's the right decision. And it made me feel good knowing that they were on board with it. You know what I mean? But they knew they were going to take a pay. They knew they're going to take a pay hit. And, and which is probably going to lead to your next question about the business loan. But,
I was going to ask, were you lucky enough to get a check?
I applied a week ago. It was a real serious deal. So, I had to have my accountant do it because he's got all your information, and we applied for it and have not heard a word. And that was over a week ago. And,
not a word, huh?
And what it is that loan is structured like, I think it's either 75-25 or 80-20. So they will give you 100% of the whole loan. They'll give you 100% of the payroll, and they'll give you an extra 20 or 25% for your utilities and things of that nature. But haven't heard a word, man. Haven't heard, even all my people, I told them to file unemployment. They haven't even heard nothing.
Yeah, our letters are just starting to roll in for unemployment. I got 9 of them this past week.
Did
So
you?
it'll be happening soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just very slow going. That I've seen television interviews with people who are literally calling the unemployment hotline 50 times a day, every day for 2 or 3 days, and not getting through at all.
Yeah. So listen to this. So my wife, about 2 months ago, before any of this even started, I get this letter at the bar, and it says, my wife's name, and you know what? There is some fraudulent stuff been going on. And I called the unemployment, and they says, oh, you know what? We figured that all out, and this and that. And anyway, man, and I've heard that with a lot of people too, man. They're trying to call and get unemployment, and they cannot get it.
Well, I can't give you, and you can pass this along to your employees as well. Because Danielle's currently on, she has to go through unemployment because her place of business is shut down.
Yeah.
The best way that she's gotten through, and because she's already receiving payments from them, you can wait up till like 2:33 in the morning, go on the site then, and you have no problem taking care of what you need to take care of at that time of the night.
Yeah.
A lot of traffic.
Yeah, well, because that's usually what happens is at midnight, and prior to, there's just thousands and thousands of people on there trying to take care of their stuff. So if you can hold off till 2:33 in the morning, every time she's gone on there and submitted something, she's gotten a response right away. Everything's gone through. Like I said, she's already received checks, from unemployment. So
yeah, it's just crazy right now, man. Just crazy.
Oh, definitely. But if you, as I said, you can hold out to early in the early hours of the morning. It seemed to help her. So
yeah, cool. How about you guys, man? What have you guys been doing?
You're looking at it, Jason.
We're working a lot.
Yeah, me, Cory, Joe, we've been hitting the grind every day and just trying to keep morale and spirits up.
I'm also working every day, Jason, just in case.
The hospital.
Bob's life literally hasn't changed.
Yeah, that's true.
Crazy right now.
Yeah, it is. There's only so much that can be said, but the good news is for the general public, at least, that it's dying down. The census numbers in the emergency rooms, they're not seeing the numbers of COVID patients coming in anymore. The people that are still in the hospitals are obviously being treated or unfortunately passing away. But the good thing is that the wave of folks that are coming in to be seen has substantially dropped. So the social distancing, the quarantining must be working in some aspect that you're not seeing those numbers. Granted, we have a lot of, the mortality rate is there. You're going to see it just from being exposed to it. But there's something to be said about people that are recovering. And, like they say with the news, there's no news like bad news. So you're only gonna see the bad stuff. But there are a lot of people, if you tap into the local St. John's and Beaumont's and Henry Ford's and Detroit Medical Center, a lot of nursing staff keeps charts of how many people they've taken off ventilators and respirators and how many people they've sent home to recover. And those numbers way surpass the mortality rate. So it's something positive, I think, to take away from that.
Right, because if you really think about it, so they know who died from it, right? I mean, that's kind of factual. That's probably a pretty solid number. They know if somebody dies and they test them, they got it or they don't. But what we don't know is how many people have it that are unrecorded.
Yep.
That number could be so high of people that have it, because nobody wants to go to the hospital. I mean, I wouldn't go if I started feeling like crap. I'd just try to weather it out, which that could be the worst thing. I don't know. But, they don't really know how many people have it, which takes that death toll number to a smaller percentage than it really is. I'm not listen, no death is good by any means, but you wonder what the real numbers are, and I don't think we'll ever really know,
There's a ton. There's a ton of people that have tested positive. And there are also that same large amount that have weathered through the storm. But, that's not sensational to talk about. It's sensational to talk about the death rate. We've got, 200 more that died today. I mean, that's what you're hearing.
Yeah.
So from the front lines, rest assured that it is slowing down. It's just as serious, but people are recovering from it.
Yeah. I lost my aunt and uncle from the Florida Keys. My uncle, he passed away from it, but he was 87 or 88. And, he already had massive respiratory issues, and he had a lot of stuff going on. And he had a caregiver coming in the house. And anyway, they had it. And then my 88-year-old aunt got it, too. They both got it. And my uncle died. But my aunt, 88 years old, she had respiratory issues. She made it through, and she's back home already. So, and she tested positive, too. So it's like a roll in the dice.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, and those are the questions that I want them to be able to answer eventually. Is, well, what is the difference between what are the symptoms or the genetic makeup that makes a one 80-year-old with respiratory issues come out of it fine, and another one not so fine.
Right. Hey.
Well, I mean, that's just kind of like looking at and saying, well, you've got this guy that's drank and smoked his entire life, and he's 95 years old, and he's fine. And then you have someone that barely drinks, doesn't smoke, and dies from lung cancer. You're like, how do you weigh these two things out? It doesn't really necessarily logically make sense every time,
Yeah. But we know way more about that than we do about this,
Yeah.
So we're just beginning to scratch the surface, I feel, of, what forget about the vaccine that hopefully will be coming one day. Just even the circumstances by which you can catch it seems still to be up in the air.
Yeah.
Weren't you and I joking about that the other night, Nick, about you read your top 25 list of quote unquote facts about COVID-19, where, it's a crapshoot. Maybe you shouldn't touch anything, but then again, you should go out. And right.
They found out that blood type has a lot to do with it, on how you can kind of overcome it. I think what's the rare one, like O or something, or whatever the rare one is, you can overcome it a lot more. They were talking about it on the
on the news channels.
No.
Every news.
Bert Kreischer's podcast.
Oh,
No. Him and Tom Segura were talking about, but they were reading it off
from the news channels.
I don't know, but they weren't laughing about it. They were just saying.
You continue to have a very sketchy source for news, Joe.
Why? Because they were looking at it on their computer and they came up with it, so it's sketchy.
Because you are relying on second or third hand news.
But that doesn't mean the shit on the first hand stuff on the news is right. It's whatever they decide to feed
Even
you.
the first hand stuff, you're like, news channels. I can't name the channels, but there's channels.
Whatever news channel I would happen to have been watching. I don't know which ones they were.
What's scary in all reality is what's going to come out of all this. Once they get the vaccine, there's going to be a lot of questions. And, who knows what direction it can take the world, because like China somehow was at fault for all this, whether it was, willfully or not willfully. I mean, but they would really think what they would owe, like the world, deaths, economies. I mean, what does that put their country in what kind of stance they're going to have to the world? I mean,
it'll be the same as it was for everybody else. MERS came from the UK and SARS came from Africa. And, I don't know that we end up assigning a lot of blame to the host countries that come up with it, as much as it's more of a, like, how do we get out of this? Like, how is it that China's recovery rate is so much better than ours? What are we not doing yet that they figured out to do? And how do we?
I don't think we get full answers from them. I mean.
Yeah, but if we can't, who do we get the answers from? That's where, like, we need to get them from somewhere. You know,
Right.
whether we close the borders, at least in our, at least, not physically, but if we just operate as a country, and how do we get out of this? It's, we need the leadership. We need, a national strategy. And like you said, when you join, Jason, like, this is not about Dearborn Heights. It's not about Michigan. It's not about, East Coast versus West Coast, or red versus blue. Like, we all need to figure out, how are we going to get out of this so we can open up businesses and start the economy and get people back to what might be close to be a normal life again.
You could go to any town in the world and have a conversation with somebody about this.
Yeah.
Think
That's
about
absolutely true. Absolutely true. Yeah. And some of them you're going to get, stories that are going to be not as bad as the ones that we've had in Michigan. And some you're going to get ones that are just horrific, and at the end of the day, it all comes down to, well, how did they deal with quarantining? How do they deal with, limiting the spread? And that's where, it's a tough thing. How do you shut the whole country down in order to limit the spread and yet still keep the economy from crashing? It's kind of an impossible task that you have. How do you do both at the same time?
Can you imagine if they wouldn't have got rid of, like, St. Patty's Day, and they wouldn't have got rid of the sports and NCAA tournaments? Think about that.
How much worse it could have been.
So much worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mardi Gras was like the last big huge gathering that happened before they started killing all this stuff,
Well, we all went to a show.
Imagine Mardi Gras. Exactly.
We all went to a show
down
at the Sonic.
3 or 4 days before.
Yeah, it was 3 or 4 days before they cut all events.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember for that 14 days after that, we were all talking about it, going, we could have it. We absolutely could have it. And we didn't know we got it. We didn't, and we wouldn't have known where, but we just got to ride it out for 14 days and see if we're okay.
Right.
Yeah. Scary times, man.
Yeah. And then they're talking about permanent stuff happening to people. They're just talking about permanent damage to their body from it. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the times we're living in, boys. You know what? I'm going to say this too. I told my wife this and she laughs at me. So I was reading I had a Chinese fortune cookie one time. I'm talking like 30 years ago. And I'll never forget this fortune cookie, man. And it said, "May you live during interesting times." I don't know why I thought about that or remember that, but God, if you think about all the stuff in our young lives, we've seen a lot of stuff, things that we never thought could happen.
Right. Yeah, we may not have seen a world war, but we've now seen, something that, our fathers or grandfathers may not have ever seen, which is a pandemic, and the world is really just kind of still trying to get its arms around.
And being attacked on our own soil for the first time ever.
That's
9/11 happened.
Well, if you don't count Pearl Harbor, but yeah.
Well, technically, yeah. That's offshore.
Well, in our life, September 11th, to me, the whole world before and after September 11th, 2001, that to me is a pivotal moment in the world.
Yeah. But and this is another one of those pivotal moments, Jason, especially and think about your daughters, your 6-year-old, 6.5-year-old, my bad.
Don't ever start screaming at you.
They're now going to be growing up. Think about the next, I've got kids as well, not as young as yours, but my son was going to graduate from DC and my daughter's in college. He's not going to get a prom. He doesn't know what's going to happen. And I feel like there's going to be that before and after moment, certainly for our kids. You and I are old enough we've kind of been through enough where we'll roll with it. We'll figure out what to do. But they're figuring out what a new normal is, like not gathering together. As much as they were kids who were always like head down in their electronics, they still now really the first generation who's going to have to go for a year or more without really being in contact with their friends and not knowing what the future is going to bring. And that's something we never had to deal with growing up.
Yep. We were talking too about it. Just they have a different life, man. These kids today have a different life than we did, guys. I was telling my daughter, I'm like, you guys got all these Facebooks and all this Oh no, Facebook is for old people, they told me. But, you know, you think about, you know, we were talking about how, like, if you had to ask a girl out and you liked the girl when you were younger, what did you do, man?
You pass them a note.
Door, man.
You pass them a note. If you like me, check this box.
Yeah. You know, I mean, going up to their house, man. Huh?
The thing they used to do where they would make that thing where you like kind of turn it like back and forth, like a little diamond of paper where you're like, read this, read that, read this, read that. What was the name of that thing, Joe?
Written on the bathroom walls.
I didn't even know they had a name.
Well, you and I went
1, 2, 3, 4.
No, Jason, you went to DC, didn't you, Jason?
Yeah.
Yes, I went to public school, so I probably had more bathroom graffiti than you did.
Oh, yeah.
I went to public school too. Had a lot.
So, Jason, you got any hard stuff around there to do a shot with us?
I get that every once in a while. Like 2 of you will freeze, but then Nick is moving.
Jason, if you're still there, there you are. You're back.
Yeah, was that a yes or no? You froze, Jay.
Yeah, give me a second, man. All right.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Give me a second.
Okay. All right. Where you want to keep recording here, Cory?
I mean, it's up to you guys. And if we can shut down the live.
I'll tell you what. Well, let's do a shot with Jay, and then we'll bring the Facebook Live and the recording to a close. Then we can continue the after hours part.
Okay.
So how about we?
Yes, sir.
We do our shot.
Yeah.
And we'll give a promotion to Jason one last time. Look.
I feel.
Hold on. He might be in my kitchen. Hold on.
He's like grinding ice or something like that. Yeah. Let's give him a legitimate promotion to the gentleman whose establishment has never paid us one dime for advertisement. Let's continue to do that. Oh shit, little JD. Nice.
Jacques Daniels?
Hold on, I gotta get a bottle opener.
That bottle's already open, Jason.
I don't think he knows how Jack Daniels works.
Oh, the 6.5-year-old can open it. Okay, take your hand, honey. Take your hand and go like this.
Open that bottle. Open the bottle.
Just like this.
There you go.
Counterclockwise.
I got
totally worth it.
Thing to open it.
Totally worth it. Right here, honey. Twist like that. Twist. You can get it.
I wonder if this is better.
Yeah, Nick.
Don't forget the outro music.
I'm gonna paste that in later. I'm not even gonna do it off the board.
Hold on, I'm trying to set this camera up so I can see if
Joe?
it's better, man. I feel like I'm
Ask your 6-year-old.
Oh, you're fine. Jay, you look fine.
All right, I know.
Totally professional.
I know.
He knows. He knows.
Better.
All right.
I'll figure that thing out later.
You know, the kids say always shoot yourself from above, not from below.
All right, listen, hey. Oh, yeah, hold on. All right.
I'm ready.
Hold on. There we go.
There you go.
On the rocks.
Yeah, I like it on the rocks, man. You know, I like to enjoy it, man.
Whiskey on the rocks.
Hey, cheers to my buds.
Cheers, Jason.
To Uncle Ray's opening very soon.
Yeah,
very, very
absolutely.
Soon.
Please, or at least let us drink in the parking lot 6 feet away.
Fountain.
I'm cooped up in my house. I can't stand it anymore.
Woo. Woo. All right, everybody. We are going to bring a close to episode 69. Jason, you don't have to go, but we're going to end the podcast right here. Before we do, we want to give you a chance to do a quick shout out for Uncle Ray's. We have been touting your bar as our local watering hole of choice for the last 69 episodes for the last calendar year. And we really appreciate you jumping on last minute. Hopefully you'll do it again. And hopefully soon. And we can't wait for you to reopen. And we want you to just do a quick a quick mini advertisement for Uncle Ray's. Where are you located? Just give a shout out for our listeners who might be in the area.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Bob. We're Uncle Ray's. We're in Dearborn Heights, 24502 West Warren Avenue. And we got tons of food, tons of drinks, and most importantly, tons of great people and staff that work there and people that come in that bar. I think we got the best clientele anywhere around here. Please come and hang out with us if you're good people, man. Come and hang out. We'll be there for you.
Awesome.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to you, Jason.
Thank you, sir.
And with that, that's Schnozzcast for this week. This is Bob signing off. Cory?
Good night. See you on the next one.
Nick?
Long live Uncle Ray's.
Joe?
Have a good night, everybody.
Jason?
To my buds.
There it is. Thank you, everybody. Join us next week.